that I wanted to. I ain't got a thing to prove to you. I leave my candy with the pork and beans. Excuse my manners if I make a scene. I ain't gonna wear the clothes that you like. I'm fine and dandy with the meat inside. One look in the mirror and I take the pick. I don't give a hoot about what you think. Everyone likes to dance to a happy song with a catchy chorus and beat, so they can.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Pork and Bean Show, starring two of the world's foremost ascended disasters, Pork Cunningham and the world's handsomest man, Frank Oliver. Sit back, relax, and stay a while, and access the far recesses of your imagination, as far as the universe that you can imagine and beyond. And let us introduce you to the world of the Sasquatch people and their message of love, their message of hope, and their message of connection.
Mr. Band.
How's it going?
Phone call of a band. I'm just setting up the recording now. I sang a little song about you. I think it was about you. A long time ago while you were gone.
Strange things are made of this. Who am I to disagree?
I'm thinking
the world of the seven seas.
I'm thinking. Well, we'll go on.
Hold your head up.
What?
Hold your head up.
That's a good song by Argent. Remember that?
Yeah. It was that lady who could sing.
No, they were guys. Argent.
But it was covered by that famous lady.
Oh.
Everybody
well, that tells me a lot.
wants to abuse you. Everybody wants to be abused by you.
Oh. No, I was thinking another. No, I was thinking of another song.
Travel the
Argent,
world of the seven seas.
No, we're thinking of totally two different songs, man.
I'm not. I'm talking about the same one.
No. The one I was thinking about was "Raise Yourself Up, Hey, Rose."
Well, that was a good one too.
I don't even know the words to it. Something like that. Argent. Totally different song, man. Anyway, hey, welcome, Beaners.
We're live on Facebook. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So, I'm thinking, I've been thinking things over. I think we're going to have to come up with a regular time or something.
A regular time sounds great. That way everybody will know that in such and such a time and such a day, they're going to get fed by the homies at Pork and Beans.
You got to get people excited, for
something as special.
Yeah. Then I'll do some videos with a bunch of subliminal messages in them, and
look how handsome I am.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are the world's handsomest man.
Can't help it. It's born that way.
Born that way, and they'll be talking about you probably centuries from now.
Well, like Marilyn Monroe, she's still
or the
women in the world.
Sistine Chapel, or Whistler's mother. That one.
Whistler's.
What did Whistler's mother do anyway? What was her occupation? She
moaned at Lisa.
What?
Whistler's mother moaned at Lisa.
Well, what was she, like some kind of deity, or just like a housewife, or who was she? Who was the woman behind that?
Don't know who Mona Lisa was either.
Oh. Do you know who you are? That's the main thing.
Yeah. I'm a human.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it's been a while since we've caught up. I'm a little bit scared to go and look to see if anyone's even watching. Is anyone watching the show?
How are they going to be watching the show? It's only been on for 5 minutes.
Do well looking into the camera and talking to myself.
What are you talking about?
It's not natural.
You go out there and take responsibility for your masterpiece.
You mean the thing I put together where I forgot to mention it was on Facebook? That one?
The seat of the pants, natural disaster.
I know, but if I go and start recruiting people and you start sharing this in different groups, we're going to have a lot of dead air on here. So I'm kind of like having an anxiety attack right now.
I know, I can see
That's why I'm hoping somebody will see the link in group. Come on and talk to me, even if you're boring and have nothing to say.
What link? You didn't put any link in the description. What link are you talking about?
Didn't I put a link in the group? Can you see if I've put the link in the group for people to join us? Can somebody please join me while Mr. Beans does his business?
How can you join unless you put the link in the group?
I did, didn't I?
What link in the group? I'm looking. It says Brian Bland is live now. Pork and Beans question and answer show, and that's all it says. Oh, you have another one down here that says join us in 15 minutes, but nobody's going to see that because it's like down in the what you call it.
Well, can you put it in the right place and put some kind of desperate plea with it?
Yeah, I can. You didn't put any questions on there yet. You're a neglect of duty.
What are you talking about? I didn't put any questions on there. I'm not going to ask myself questions. Maybe I'll ask you some. I'm going to ask you
questions and answers. Put your questions in the comments.
Where are they? Do you see any?
There's no questions. It's just some people saying hi. Hi, who hizzle swizzle.
No, people. We don't want hi. This show does not survive on highs and Well, the good vibes it does.
The people don't even on the show yet, and you're asking, you're pushing. Don't pushy. Don't be pushy.
We need solid questions to Mr. Bean. I mean, you can even ask me something. I know that would be a stretch, but
how's it been in the woods? How's it been in the woods so far? Have you had a good time this last week or two? I know you've had miraculous experiences that everybody is feeling crushed because they're not as experienced as you.
That's not what it's all about. You know that.
Facebook Live.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this live, or are we just talking like personally?
You're on Facebook. Are you on drugs, Brian? Are you on that coffee drug thing? Did you do that coffee?
No, I'm on natural high water.
Okay. So you're basically.
And this water is this is pretty special water.
Check this out. Your brain diluted or something?
Well, it's purified water with pH balanced and electrolytes for taste.
Copy link. And why have I got to do this?
I don't know what that means, because if I do it, everything goes haywire. And it seems like it's going pretty good. I don't see anybody coming on to join us, though. So what were you saying?
Because you didn't put it in the comments. You just put it out there random 15 minutes ago.
Well, that's how I think randomly. I can't help it if people don't think like me. Maybe that's the problem.
Okay, here's a question. You want a question? Here's a question from K. Oma.
Oh.
Hi, Kay. Do they come to you often in your dreams time? If so, do you remember the lessons or others that they bring to you there? Yeah,
I've had...
Raspberry says, put the link in the comments.
They have come to me in dream time a few times, and it always seems that, well, I feel that it's not an actual dream. They're actually there with you, and that it's more than a dream. It's more than a lucid dream. It's like they're actually there with you. And was the other part? Do they teach you lessons? Well, I think they work with a lot of people when they're sleeping.
Oma says, do they come to you often in your dream time? If so, do you remember lessons or other that they bring to you there?
Most of the lessons are like hands-on kind of things. We're out in the field, but I have had them come to me in dream time, yes. And it's more than a dream. How about you?
Okay, I have the link in the description. Links in the comments.
Have they come to you, Beans?
Huh?
You see, you're not a great multitasker.
Have who come to me?
I thought they have come to you.
Come to me all the time.
Well, tell us some stuff. What would answer the question?
Oh. Sometimes when I go to sleep, I dream. I like before I go to sleep, I visualize that my pillow is the lap of a big, sweet mama Sasquatch, and so I just lay there and just feel the energy of her, and it's kind of nice. You can drop down to like being a little baby, being comforted by your mother. That's kind of nice. That's a nice feeling.
Yeah. Oh, you're asking me what was happening to me in the woods lately. Yeah. I've been saying hi to all the trees every time I go in now, right?
Trees are good people. I
know, they are good people, and hugging them and stuff. And then today I was having my drum and singing to them and having the vibration right up to them, and I was touching them, and I swear I could feel the love from those trees, especially one.
If you're sensitive, when you put your hand on a tree, you can feel it. You can feel the whole tree shake.
Yeah. Well, they have their own. Yeah, they have their own life within them. You can feel the difference in the trees. There's this great big one, huge one way out in the backcountry that's just amazing. But anyway, since I've been saying hi to them and whatever, all the trees, and every time I'm walking there, every time I look at a tree, I can visualize a face immediately. It's like some of them look like, what was that movie where those big trees are walking around? They got those tree faces.
No, I don't know that movie.
Well, they had it in the Wizard of Oz, but they look kind of scary. These ones look more wise. Some of them look like tree spirits. Some of them look like Sasquatch. Some of them look like owls. It's like every tree I look at, I'm seeing all these different things like immediately. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, you know, trees are like plugged into the whole universe, so they got all these signals and stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, because this is a classy show, we put out the SOS and asked the guests to come on, or somebody to come on and take up.
It's part of the seat of the pants programming.
So yeah, so we'll ignore them and then totally. No, I'm just joking. Hey, Richard, how you doing?
Richard's mic's off right now, but he's got a brand new baby book you want to talk about.
Well, once he comes on, then you can go and start sharing stuff.
He's on.
He's on, but he can't. I'm asking him stuff. His mic's off.
I'll turn his mic on in a minute. There
you go.
I have about 6 voices going on at once.
In your head?
Oh, no, it was because I guess I was unmuted or something. No, you kept repeating yourself about 15 times.
Well,
I heard you say the same thing.
That sounds like me.
Times. Yeah, you know, I figured that you wanted me to get something out of it.
We're looking for somebody, you know, that it sounded horrible, especially the way I said it. We are looking for anybody to come and fill some time while Beans did his stuff. But then that sounds like that's not very complimentary, is it? No. How you doing there, Richard?
Well, I'm doing just fine. You know, I've been in the woods myself.
Have you?
Oh, yeah. I'm out of the woods now, though.
Well, we get Beans has never been out of the woodshed, and that's why he's got trauma. You see,
trauma.
He's got the ancient childhood woodshed trauma.
He seems.
See it in his face. See it in his face.
He seems fine.
No, he seems fine, but look at the sadness in the
This is the face of a broken man.
Oh no.
Yeah. He's.
I see your hats. You got hats. You know,
can you feel my and this little thing right there, that's a paper towel that I liked, and this is a little thing that holds money, and I want to remember that money that I spent out of that little envelope. So
well, that makes sense. You know,
that's like a field of dreams there.
I was talking about that pre-show, like when we had the dead air. I sang a song about you, and then I started talking about your house. I thought that was like artifacts from Roswell. Isn't that triangular thing like that metal stuff that they pulled out of the ground? No?
What triangular thing?
Beside the hats. I thought those were artifacts from Roswell, no?
That thing there?
There, right there. What's that?
No, the triangular thing. Right above your head. Oh, forget it. This guy doesn't know shapes.
That's not triangle. That's a square.
That's a towel.
Oh, okay. That's not an artifact from Roswell? No?
It's a paper towel that I was emotionally attached to.
Good Lord. I mean, you should have seen the big thing I was saying about it. It sounded so impressive. I might keep that in and edit your answer out. I'm not sure. But anyway. Are you going to go and do your stuff? Oh, what are you doing?
That's the hat, and that's another hat.
Yeah. What is that, a bedpan or something? From a spaceship?
What? The little thing? No, this thing right here?
Yeah, bedpan from a spaceship.
No, what that is my son painted his car. I think he's got a couple other ones. See them up there?
Ah.
And what you do when you paint a car, if you're trying to pick out a color, is you buy these colors, and then you paint it with this little plastic thing, and it's got these little bumps on it, so you can see how it reflects the light differently, and then you can pick out the color for your car.
Is this the guy who doesn't want Sasquatch in his room?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's not a friend with Sasquatch, or he just doesn't want to.
Well. Just likes his privacy, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, they were in my room the other day. They've been coming in my room lately. Just, little buddy opened the door, and then he started playing with toothpicks on my table, making friendship welcome X's out of them a couple times. So, but I invited them into the house, so they came. So, Richard, what's going on with you lately?
Things are a little slow right now.
In what regard?
They closed the portals.
Oh.
And all
that's all about.
All that good energy and everything that was coming out of there is now gone for a period of time.
Maybe they got other humans they got to go boost up.
I think it's because of we're out exchange with them. They give us good energy, and we've been pouring some bad energy into their universe, and they don't like it.
I never heard that statement before, but it sounds like it could be true.
Hey, Beans, half your head's cut off, which is not, you're only half as handsome as you used to be.
Who's got their head cut off?
Beans.
Oh.
Not literally. Not literally. We don't have a guillotine on the show there, Richard.
Yeah, you scared me for a minute there.
Yeah, I mean, well, watch it. If you say the wrong word, the big comes down.
Can you see all of my magnificence now?
There you go.
Yes. A full headshot.
Okay, so go ahead, Richard.
Well, things have not been, you know the situation in our world right now. It has not been good energy from the human side, but there's been a lot of good energy from the other side trying to counterbalance, but it's the bad energy seeping into their world that they don't want. So they've shut the portals for the time being, is my understanding. I still know where there's one, which is not easy to get to. Don't know exactly where it is, but I hope to find out this next week.
And how does that affect you and your relationship and what you do with them, with the portals being closed?
It's just a little depressing, that's all. I don't normally get depressed, so I can't say it's depressing. It's just disappointing, or yeah, I'd call it that.
So so you're saying that all the chaos that's been going on in the world and the government and the off-world stuff has come home to you in a very visceral way by this closing of the connection, the portal connection. That's profound news, really.
Yeah, that's exactly the case. They aren't going to be permanently closed, but until I'm asking myself the questions. How long are they going to be closed? They're going to be closed until we get our shit together a little better, or?
Well, that's only going to be 300 years, so
I know, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, because time for them is like 300 years is
nothing. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's like
for us, it's 3 lifetimes, right?
Yeah, 3.5, 4 lifetimes.
I don't think. I think we're still going to be doing our work in this lifetime. I still feel whole, and I still feel, I think it's probably maybe a temporary thing.
Yeah, it could be just locally here. Here,
it certainly hasn't affected me.
Yeah, here there's problems with agriculture and things that a lot of poisons and stuff get into the environment, and of course they don't want that. They don't use any of that crap. They don't have to use any artificial chemicals, or they don't worry about the pests. They're in symbiotic relationship with them that always works out one way or another. Yeah. So, the human ego gets in our way as far as...
Well, and plus they don't have a monetary system. All these things with the agriculture and all these things are all revolve around money.
Now you've nailed the nail right on the head. Yes, that is part of the problem.
Exactly. That's why people don't respect people's lives, and why big pharma or whatever would rather kill you than let you know about a real cure for things, that you can maybe buy over the counter and stuff, because their god is money.
Yeah.
And life is just a commodity that they can milk for the money they can make off you. So it's sick, and it's ridiculous, and they can go screw themselves.
Yeah, it's going to change. It'll change eventually. I hope it doesn't take 300 years.
I was going to say F themselves, but maybe I should have said that. But anyway, with
some more things coming in from the question gallery.
Oh, good.
Yeah. First, Randy Bell's in the house. He says 5Gs. 5Gs is in full swing right now, and I think that might be part of the play. Coastal Chick here, she has kind of like a statement wrapped in a question, or a question wrapped in a statement.
Oh, she's a woman. They're complicated.
Don't say anything bad about our.
I said complicated. Is that bad?
Yes. Stop being so white. Coca-Cola. Coastal Chick says, I received a message last night from my Sabi friend to get ready because the ETs are going to reveal themselves very soon and people are going to panic. I was told to be prepared for this. Did anyone else have anything like that happen? That's a good question. Well, I know the U.S. federal government military people put out this UFO report, and it was the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen in my life. The UFO report just says, "Oh, we've had since 2004, we had 180 something sightings from pilots," and that's all they talked about. And they said of those, 80 of them were completely anonymous and stuff. And then they start asking for money. We don't have any funding for this. We don't have any funding for that, and so it's like 9 pages. We got 40,000 years. 40,000 years we've been interacting with this basically a whole bunch of different ETs, and all they got was 9 pages of crap asking for money. And it was like nothing new, nothing extraordinary, nothing profound, nothing was in that thing. So there was a big letdown from their side. So I hope that the ETs are getting pissed off and saying, okay, listen, we tried to tell you, we wanted to tell you in the 70s, we wanted to tell you in the 80s and 90s, we wanted to tell you at 2012. It was supposed to definitely happen at 2012, and 2001 we're supposed to do it, and we've bumped it back, and I think they're getting fed up and saying the only thing they can do now is just show us. So I don't know if that answers the question. What do you guys think?
Richard?
I have had no information on that level. So I can't answer that question. I don't. I haven't had that experience to get prepared for anything. My experience right now is, again, there's a little bit of a withdrawal. That could possibly be it.
Yeah. With me, it's just business as usual. They just keep it simple with me. I just got connected in with some guy today, walking back first thing in the morning, visiting my woods, playing my drum, and some guy said, "Oh, you're on a spirit walk?" All of a sudden, I started getting the energy really big. Started talking to him. Now we're Facebook friends. He's probably going to come to my gathering in September. So my thing is very, very basic. It keeps it very, very basic. It's just heart connections and whatever. And
yeah, that's still there. I'm not talking about that side of the coin right now. I'm talking about the physical.
Yeah, I'm just saying they don't keep it too complicated with me, whatever. I just, I got a big knowing from downloads and stuff or whatever, but it's not like, it's weird. It's knowing without questions kind of thing. You know what I mean? We talked about that last time we were
yeah.
on.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, I think the main thing, we just have to concentrate and focus on raising our vibrations and keeping our energies in positive energies instead of buying into the vibrational lies of the head.
I know that.
The heart.
Yeah,
that's all. Look at Beans. Did you know that, Beans?
He's excited.
He's excited. He never knew
vibrational
that.
energy and
he's excited. He's excited. He's excited.
Another good question if you're ready.
Quit these questions, man. What is this, a question and answer show, for Pete's sakes? Oh, wait a minute. It is. Yeah, go ahead. What's our question?
I have to look it up. Oh, Renee Shrian says, I believe we are our own portals. This is about what we were talking about a little while ago about portals. I think so too, and I think that's what Sasquatch are going to teach us, is that at some point we're going to be able to open up our own portals, and it's not going to have to be this big tech thing that the ETs and the military are all about. But then Kay Oma, she said, wouldn't it be for us that we are aware to do our part in keeping the energy high in their absence, for ourselves, our areas and beyond? Isn't that part of their teaching? And I think we started to touch about that, keeping our energy high.
That's everything.
Talked about that a little bit, but you could go into it some more. That's
everything. Yeah. I mean, we're conditioned from birth to believe lies of that we're separated. That's the biggest lie, and everything.
That's the biggest lie.
Everything steamrolls from there, and that you're different than me. I don't like you, and whatever. And really, when you're in that unconditional state of love that the Sasquatch are in, none of that stuff. That stuff is ridiculous. It's just like it. Don't even ever think that negative stuff. So keeping your vibrations high is getting away from watching the news and all the negativity and all the, this group doesn't like this group and whatever, and all this stuff that seems like it might be good. And for some people it is good, but what it really is it's just a ploy to keep us separated. And there are some good, and so.
Yeah, it's
just not putting your vibration into like the news or like judging somebody. Instead of saying, I don't like the way that guy looks, why don't you think, that guy's got a nice hat on or something. Think of something good. Put your vibration naturally into high places. We're always putting our vibration into judgments because we're conditioned that way. That's how you keep your vibration high, or at least, on a basic way. And I know that because I've done it, because I've gone and drifted off where I've started judging and stuff. And I instantly said, I'm turning that dialogue off. And instantly went to that, higher vibration again. So we can actually practice it and do it as people. And that's what the Sasquatch want us to do. Get away from the judgment of the head and get into the unconditional love of the heart, because that's where the real connection. That's who we really are. And once you've lived and experienced that, and I mean, I'm a work in progress every day. I'm not trying to, I'm not like but whatever, work in progress. But once you've experienced that, there's really no going back, and you realize that that's what you have, how it is, right?
Yeah. Once you're on the road, you can't get off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My view is about polarity, right? Light and dark, good and bad, happy and sad, and everything's basically a polarity. There's a good and evil and all these different kind of things. But when you look at human beings, right, we're a polarity too. And what's the opposite polarity of a human?
Subhuman. I don't know.
No, it's the entire universe.
Oh.
Human is like we're the most condensed, isolated, right? We're the most condensed, individualized, exclusive. But so the opposite of that is inclusive of the whole universe. So that's our other pole, and we stay too much time in the exclusive, most limited, small part of us, when in reality, we're also connected to this other part of the other polarity, which is the entire universe. Saw this program the other day where the scientists were looking at the atoms, right? And atoms are just little vortexes of energy. And what they actually say is the atoms, each atom extends to the entire content of the universe. It's just to get smaller and smaller and smaller and lesser, but it does go out. So, and that all atoms and all energy is intertangled. So there's basically what it's saying is on every level, any way you look at it, we're infinite and immortal and what was never created. So, that's the opposite of us. That's the opposite of a human. And that's really high vibrational state. And I think that's what the Sasquatch is showing us, that, there's more. You're more than that. You're beyond that. There's, other capabilities, other probabilities. And,
I wanted to ask you, can you go on a little bit more about that? I forgot the lady who asked the question, but she was saying she thinks we're all portals within ourselves. What do you know about that? What's your thoughts on that? Both of you, but Beans, you want to start?
That's just what I was talking about. As connected, right? Connected. Every atom in our being, all the vortexes of energy are connected. Mm-hmm. And in order to move from one spot to another, all you have to do is move your focus, your center from one place to another. I remember one time when I went on a craft, right? I went from my bed up to the craft. I talked for a couple of hours, and then I came back down, to my bed, got up and went out and had a cigarette, came back to my bed. Well, I was talking for a couple of hours. So, and then I went back up to the craft, talked for 2 or 3 more hours, right? I was giving them a report and came back down. The thing is, you don't feel it, okay? You don't feel whoosh, and you're up on the craft, or woo, just like no, it's like this. You just move your consciousness and you're there. You know what I mean?
Well, that's yes. Yeah. No, I do know, because that's how
it's like to me, I had thought about that. I was because it was kind of, how many times you go on a craft? Not that many times. So I was thinking about it, and I realized I felt nothing. It was just, I wanted to be in my bed, and I was there. And I had unfinished business on the craft, and I wanted to be there, and I was there. So I don't know if that's portals or not, but that's pretty, portals may be something different, but we have that ability. And I think that's how the spaceships work too, is the spaceships, you just think about where you want to go, and it goes there in no time.
For sure, the Sasquatch do that. They just think. They just consciously think that they want to be in my room, like Ari did, and appear to my room, and he's there.
And they can come invisibly or whatever, or visibly.
Yes,
it doesn't matter to them.
They can come in, in any kind of audio or visual kind of thing too. Oh, and I wanted to ask you.
I think it's the same thing with shape-shifting. They just think. Right. I want to go look in this. I want to go look out of this robin's eyes, and their whole just because it's not about size or shape. It's about being able to shift your consciousness around.
I wanted to ask you one thing though. Do they allow smoking on the craft?
I don't know if they did, but I didn't have any smokes with me, so I had to go get them.
We have to take some with you next time and light up and see what they think of it. They didn't have like no smoking signs or anything, like, okay.
K. Omar says, Randy Bell says, I get photos of ETs at my research site. That's pretty cool.
How about a question, though?
K. Omar says, the question or comment was addressing what Richard was saying about being depressed or feeling the loss of portals. And then she goes on to say, clear the clutter from our minds and hearts. Clutter being doubts, fears, anger, things taught, etc. Simply clear and accept the moment. That's pretty beautiful.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Last few days I've been up in the woods like 3 times a day. I just got back from my hike, 7 in the morning.
Susan Bland says, "I want you to go over to
activity. Sure. Don't just move on. No, just that's my wife. Oh, okay.
You gotta stop making jokes out of being rude to our customers.
That's my gig. It's not working anymore.
Get over it. That doesn't work. It's not even funny.
No.
There's some sensitive souls out there. They'll be crushed. Oh, he doesn't love me.
Okay. I'll be the.
Be kind and loving. Be the example. Be the talk show host that you wished you could be. The all that you could be.
Hey, Susan, what's your question? We're so interested in everyone's contribution.
Go over and read her question, man.
Read it.
You got this thing here called Zoom, and then behind Zoom, you've got Pork and Beans running. All you have to do is make a click.
I don't know where that click is.
No, I'm not a good clicker either, Richard.
Yeah, I have no idea where to find the chat.
No. If I start doing that, then all of a sudden both shows start playing at once. Everything goes haywire. It's just like it don't work for me. I need a producer.
Stop that. That's excuses.
I was going to ask you, Richard, but you sound like you're just as lost as I am. So
I am. I have no idea where that question would be. Once I clicked on the button to enter this room, the chat went away.
But what if you just monitor the chat?
Then I can't talk. Well, I could. But
I watched something recently on the relationship between consciousness and the ETs moving from here to there and back.
Whose question is that, Susan's?
It's not a question; it's a statement.
It's just a statement.
You would know that if you would look in the. Why? What is with you guys? You're not even. You're not.
I told you.
You don't even.
Richard and I can't do that. Everything goes haywire.
You don't even care enough to find the comments.
I can't find
the comments, but you can't find the comments, and you don't want to look for the comments because you're too lazy.
No.
All I've got here is a leave meeting button.
Oh, is the Zoom your full screen there?
No.
Wait a minute. Richard's our guest. What the heck? He doesn't have to look at the comments unless he wants to be a producer at some point in the show. Then he's got to do all, because.
Richard, if you go up to the top of Zoom and drag the whole Zoom window left or right,
it'll get bigger. Okay, it's getting bigger.
Oh boy. This ain't that kind of show though, actually.
Yeah, but there's still, all it did was make the leave button bigger.
You see, Beans? You see what happens when you start working with us, trying to get us to like. If I start doing that, then all of a sudden.
Okay. I'm gonna be doing ET thing.
What's Susan's comment or question?
No, I'm not gonna tell you any more questions. I'm not gonna read the comments anymore. You got to do it.
Okay, well then you're gonna see me at my finest. I'm going. Oh, where is he?
Yeah, we're stuck. He left you now.
Oh, okay. Well, we can.
Now you're on your own.
No, you're here with me.
I might not be.
Which is basically being on my own. Aren't I complimentary to all our wonderful people that join us? Yeah, no, I'm just joking. But,
we don't even know if there's anybody there at this point because we can't read the comments.
You want me to try to go and you want me to venture out and see if I can do it without screwing everything up?
Have you ever done it?
I've done it. Have I ever done it? Oh yeah, I've done it. I've done it successfully many times.
Give it a shot then.
Okay. Well, just look pretty there for a minute while I go and do my stuff.
Okay.
Or say something. I don't know. Do something.
Yeah. Well, we were on this topic of good vibrations and stuff, and my wife wrote something yesterday that was just amazing. I wish I had it. It was about maintaining that whole aspect of yourself and not getting caught up in any of the negative stuff. If you watch TV, like you said, if you watch TV or anything, that's all negative energy. That's the kind of energy I'm talking about when I say the Sasquatch want to close the portals, because I've fed up with all that energy from the news and the CDC and all this crap that is being pumped out there on a daily basis on all kinds of channels, except the channel of the Sasquatch and our spiritual channels, of course. It's not there unless you put it there. If I had it, I would read it. I think it would click with everybody, but I don't have it in front of me, and it's not printed out, so I would have to track her down and have her print it out for me. She posted it somewhere. I don't know where, but she read it to me, and I went, "You wrote that?" I mean, I was just amazed at the connection that was there. And hooray, we have rain for the first time in over a month. Thank you, Sasquatch, and all the others that have brought this rain. I know you probably get all kinds of rain up there in Seattle, but here it's been very, very dry.
Well, I'm actually in Vancouver, but same
Vancouver, yeah.
But
okay.
Actually, it seemed like we went through a phase like 20 years ago where like we had 30, 40 days in a row sometimes where it rained, but it doesn't rain as much as it used to. But
I see.
But yeah, it can. But well, we got a rainforest too up here too, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I've been there before, but it's been a long time.
Oh, you've been to Vancouver? Or?
I have. I've been all over the whole West Coast up to Vancouver and Seattle, the Cascades, and that whole area. But it's been a while. I was quite young at the time.
And did you know anything about Sasquatch or any of this stuff at the time?
Oh yeah. Like I said, that I had my first experience when I was about 7. So, oh yeah, I was aware, and I was very interested in going into the forest and everything there, and it's quite different than here. Quite a lot different, if you want to know the truth.
Oh, BC? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Like it's like fairyland. It's all mossy covered and
waterfalls, and yeah, just all kinds of things that you wouldn't see here. Cascading water, and yeah.
Yeah. So, did you have any experiences that you wanted to share in British Columbia with Sasquatch or anything like that?
I did not. So. Not till I returned home did it happen again. I think I brought that up to you when we had our show the last time. You know, it was a big span of time in there of, you know, I was doing my own thing and they were doing their own thing.
Well, that's how it works. Like I had, I think it's all related. You know, like it's all related. I mean, I think we all came in, the people who were here to do some kind of work or whatever, came in with a different understanding anyway. A lot of us, I mean, I always thought, like, what am I doing here? I don't belong. I'm not putting myself anywhere, like, above or below anybody. It just didn't feel like I belonged here or feel right.
Yeah, you're just different. That's all. Yeah. You know, I felt the same way, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, but, you know, as far as that goes, like you, I had this glowing outline guy that appeared on my bed when I was 19. It was looking at me like a transparent, shimmering outline guy. And then he didn't freak me out or anything. Didn't even scare me. Just like, oh, well, that was cool. But, you know, like when I say it's all connected, because I think that has something to do with when the Sasquatch called to me in 2012 to go to the mountains. You know, it's all connected in, but that was like from 19 to, 54, 55 or something when they called me to the mountains, something like that. So there was a big gap in there too, right?
Yeah, for
sure.
Since
then it's been like nonstop, but
yeah.
But I mean, but there always seems to be some connection. They're checking in on you, or they know something's coming, or when the time is right, kind of thing. It's not random. It's not random, I don't think, in most cases.
No, they drew me here. You know, I didn't come here just on my own. They drew me here. So, and now it's a strong connection again. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, and I think that the connection is getting stronger for people now because, like you said, you know, we all know it's such a crucial time in our history. It's you know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know, but I do know we create our own reality, and so I'm trying to put my reality and my creativity into positive light thoughts and whatever.
Oh,
and that's why it is so important, because of the fact that we are all connected. People do not realize, like, people want to, you know, because we are all connected, that our energy and our thoughts are so important that go out there, not only for ourselves, but for the whole collective. That really is the best thing that we can do. And people, but they get overwhelmed by the situation. They want to do things hands-on. It's okay to be concerned, but if you get overwhelmed and buried by it and by the negativity of it, that's not doing anybody any good.
Yeah, I've got to be careful of that.
Yeah, you've got to, yeah, right. So
yeah,
when I tell people, well, don't watch the news, or don't listen to the lie, don't buy into stuff. That really is, you know, that really is how to do it. Focus on.
Yeah, I don't do any of that. I don't watch TV at all. I even limit myself to this kind of stuff.
I'm having a hard time watching you right now. I'm just
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I can always press this little red button down. You know.
So, Richard,
I hear the dog making a comment.
Yeah, the dogs are big fans around here.
Coastal Chick says, "Oh, I would totally love to jump in the show, Brian, but as you know, my internet service is the shits. I can't even add comments without this thing freezing up and having to reload the show." That's okay. I like Coastal Chick. She's always fun to hear from. Thanks for the comment.
So, Richard.
Yes.
What's going on? Okay. So you said that the portals have closed down around your area, so you're not getting much going on at all right now?
Physically, again, you know, there's the physical portals, and then there's the universe that doesn't abide by those laws at all, which is an avenue of communication. Am I still in communication? I've been informed I can, if I want to talk with my friend, so to speak, all I have to do, he said, don't worry about coming to the woods right now. Just ask and we can have a conversation. Well, I haven't felt the need to do that, so I haven't done that. It's just been, you know, now I know when I go to the woods to expect something different. It's not going to be, you know, there's no portals there to let that energy out, which I feed off of, you know, to a degree. I like that energy. I like that. What drew me here to begin with. And you don't realize it's gone until it's gone. When it's gone, you go, wow, things are different. That's just the closing of the physical portals.
Describe the energy. Describe the energy. Like, what do you miss? What describe it for somebody who hasn't experienced it.
It is very light. For one, it's like light. You know, light is light. Take away the light, what happens? It's dark. You take away the energy and it's dark to a degree. Now I'm not talking about what your eyes see. I'm talking about what your heart sees and what your heart feels. It's that closing down of something that's uplifting, and you feel it, but you get used to it until it's gone. It's like, you know, you could equate it to a love affair. Say you have a love affair. You know what? I mean, everybody has experienced that all that energy that you have and all this love, and well, and you take it away, it's an emptiness. It's a void. It's just a little bit of a void in the physical universe right now, because prior to that, the portals were open and all that energy could be felt and experienced just by being in the woods. Well, now I have to create it. I'm going to have to, if I want that, I have to do it mentally. I have to create the connection mentally, and which is fine. I'm not adverse to that. I do that anyway. It was a combination of the physical and the mental up until a week ago. Now it's just the mental. Except I know there's one portal there yet in the physical, which I'm working on because that's a different person or forest person with that portal than the others. The others are with my friend. You know, this one is not my friend, but I hope him to be my friend. So there is some turmoil, a little bit at least, in the Sasquatch world. I know you don't see it that way, but I see it that way because I've experienced a different encounter where there was I didn't know if I was gonna, whether this thing was gonna, attack me or not at one point. Was it all a show? I think it was all a show because there's something afoot in regards to a separate faction or whatever, a separate clan that has a little bit different viewpoint than the Council of Elders. But now I think they're working together, and I think that's all part of this portal's closing down. That they have reached some sort of resolution as to what they're going to do with humanity if humanity doesn't change. Because humanity is a threat at this point with the lady whoever the person was that said the 5G, that is not good for the natural world. It's in my universe crossover where the Sasquatch live. They don't want this technology. This technology stuff is harmful to all kinds of living forms, which mankind doesn't give a shit about. Mankind just wants their entertainment. They want their TVs. They want their computers that we're using here. Well, all that operates on frequency. You understand how these things kind of, I don't have a full understanding of the technology behind it. Did it come from the ETs that are not so friendly to us? I don't know. I'm not in on that kind of top secret, whatever you want to call it. I know there's people that know. I know there's people on this earth that know, but I'm not one of them. I don't know where I went all of a sudden. I don't remember the question. So
I have a question for you is how do you find portals? I mean, it's what most people don't find portals, but how did you find them? Is it a feeling? Is it intuition? Is it a radar?
Oh no. These were, I was taken to them. Now I came across one by accident while I was fishing. Did I know it was a portal at the time? No. These things were awry. Like I said, the water was running backwards. How can you have water running backwards?
What?
Talk about being confused when you're in the woods and the stream and everything that should be there and it's all backwards. It messes with your mind, believe me. And then one time when I went there, the stream wasn't even there. And I marked the trail. I actually marked it. And I marked it not with sticks, broken sticks, or any of that kind of stuff. I was so certain that I was going to find this stream. I took a spray can of paint and spray painted dots on trees so that nobody could mess with me. If any human was messing with me, I would know it because they couldn't erase those spots on the tree. Well, I follow those spots. There's no stream there that day. How can that be?
Yeah, it's
unexplainable in human terms.
I've had them cloak entire areas on me, but that was because I didn't listen to them the first time they did mind speak with me. So they taught me a lesson, but so they're capable of that. Maybe because you would so meticulously marked everything so you could find it again. They just were going to show you. We'll show you. Yeah.
Oh, they messed with me.
Yeah, they probably just messed with you and say, "Oh, he's going to do all this, but he's not going to find it."
Yeah, well, they're good at that. I've had plenty of experiences where you have to laugh because they are so lighthearted and so willing to play games like that, and they get a kick out of it. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got a juvenile with me right now. Actually, today was the first day he didn't do it, but he's playing a game with me with rocks, with this rock and a piece of wood, and he keeps. First time I seen it, I took note, and that's the first step in it because you notice something, and you notice it by design, right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Richard? How it works. They know you're going to notice it. It's like they set it up or whatever. So I looked at it and I see this rock on a stump and I said, okay, well, they put rocks on stumps. Interesting. But then I seen a piece of wood underneath and I said, okay, this is more convincing to me. So I think I took the piece of wood and put it on top of the rock. Well, the next day I went in there, it was changed. It was piece of wood was at the back of the rock, and I went in there for 6 consecutive days, and they kept changing it, and they even had like 5 rocks at one time.
Yeah.
and every day it was like I would go in, they change it, I change it, he would change it. Well, I know the individual, but it was like a game going back and forth. And actually, I'm getting some significant glyph messages from this guy too in another area. So a lot of communication going on that way.
Yeah, I hadn't paid so much attention to it before my conversation with you. I'm watching more now, on that regard, because I'm not up on their little messages and stuff that you seem to be,
Have you come up across anything?
Oh, I have always gotten rocks, but not sticks. I have been gifted rocks, and they want you to take them. They don't want you to leave them there. When they gift something, they want you to accept their gift. And I've gifted back,
Right.
And they always take it too. There's no selfishness or any of that kind of stuff, or if that's what you want to call it. It's just here, why don't you take this? I have I've always gotten heart-shaped stones.
Yes.
Does that mean something to you? Or
yeah, it means they love you.
Yeah, okay, good. And one of them's from a juvenile, like a real young, and it's female, and we have a good time, I mean, it's just curiosity for the most part. She's very curious about me, more so than an adult would be. The adults just, there's not that kind of exchange of energy and thought and all that kind of stuff on a level that this little Sasquatch is doing.
You mean you don't have that kind of level of communication with any others that you do with this?
Well, not on a curiosity level.
Oh, right.
This is a real curious level. Like, what are you? You know.
Well, I
referring to me, you know, she's going, "What are you?"
Yeah. Well, that's what I. Oh, wait a minute. See, I was going to slip again. I was going to say that's what I was thinking too, but I didn't want to say it. Say there you go.
No, that's true. It's probably a good viewpoint.
But you know what I find? But I find that the juveniles and they're just like our kids or whatever. They're curious and they're mischievous and they want to horse around and have fun and whatever. They're generally the ones that are throwing stuff out on the trail in front of you or making a noise and laughing to see if you hear them or playing a little trick, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know, I don't have that that kind of games condition with an adult Sasquatch. You know, it's down to business to some degree or another.
I found that the adults I deal with too have humor too, but it's like adult humor as opposed to, you know, they're very much like us in that regard, you know, like juveniles and mischievous.
Yeah, they're like you then, huh?
Exactly. That's why I hang. Yeah, that's why. Hey, wait a minute. That's not allowed on this show.
Really?
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Unless it's about me. No. Okay.
Richard, I'm always astounded whenever I listen to your stories. It's like you're on a whole category of relationship with your clans and your area. You're on like a whole nother level. There's so many people out there, like in the spiritual Sasquatch group and the Pork and Beans group and a few others. They're having these wild variety of experiences and teachings. It's just astounding, you know, and compared to what the rest of the world is experiencing out there in the Sasquatch researcher world, you're not even on their radar. You're not even on the charts. And yet I think this is the stuff that you're doing is the direction that the Sasquatch people want to go.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Yes.
Yeah.
I used to pay attention. You know, I don't want to, when somebody experiences something, they experience it and you can't.
Yeah. If they experience mean or aggressive, then that's their experience.
Yeah. Where did that come from? I have no idea because I haven't experienced it on any of that level to speak of. Again, I've had an encounter where I didn't know what was going to happen, but that encounter ended up showing me the portal. And I believe in the end, that was the purpose of it. Otherwise, I would have not reacted the way I reacted without that second Sasquatch being there and showing aggression to me. I allowed another one to step in and show me the portal. I got taken through the portal at that point by the Sasquatch, which I trusted.
I wanted to ask you, when the portals are open, what can come through the portals and what can go into them? Like obviously the Sasquatch can come through. Obviously energies can come through, but what kind of stuff can come through and go in? And why is it maybe, well, I can see why the negativity of our side would affect them. But and that's maybe why they wanted to close it. But can you talk about what goes in and out and how it affects things?
Well, I haven't spent a lot of time at a portal in seeing stuff come in and out. I have passed through it. One portal I got stuck in, apparently, because I was told I was there a lot longer than I thought I was there. I had no idea I was gone that long.
Were you in trouble? Was there a danger?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I guess I just liked it. You know, it's.
And can you describe some of the things you've seen when you've gone through the portals? Like you said, you saw like rivers running backwards.
Do I see anything with my physical eyes? Did you die? Where did he go?
Who?
Brian, he froze.
Oh, you can talk to me.
Okay. He did, he froze. You're not seeing things with your eyes. That's the difference. You know, there's no.
Yeah, his internet went down. He'll be all right. We're
All
still
right.
live on Facebook and we're still live on Zoom, so we're cool. So what you were asking me about going to the ship?
Yeah, so when you went to the ship,
Me, it definitely felt physical because I was up on stage and I was talking and I had to be rational and coherent for like hours. I was on the stage talking to him for 5 hours. So, and I was there long enough to feel fatigue and because I was talking about really sensitive material, it made me nervous and I wanted to go out and have a smoke. So after about 3 hours, I went back. And now I don't know if I went back with their assistance but for me, it was just as soon as I felt to go back, I was back like that.
yeah.
And then definitely in my bed, I mean, I felt the same in my bed, and then getting up and go outside for a smoke. I felt exactly the same. In other words, the sensation was no different.
I see.
It felt like I had my body. Now, could that have been a screen thing or possibly? You know, it could possibly be because the people there, because I couldn't see the whole definition of the whole room. It was like imagine going to a college someplace where there's a stage and there's a like electrum or something, and then there's kind of chairs down in the you know
In the auditorium
in
part.
the auditorium, but it wasn't a really big one. It'd be like more like a conference room size. You know, maybe could hold a couple hundred people or something, 100 people. So it wasn't really huge. And there wasn't that many people there, but these guys had on, I think they had on kind of a dark jumpsuit kind of a thing, but then they had the whole head was, it looked like it had like a white stocking, almost like those you know, when people do the sword fighting, they have this kind of a helmet on.
Oh, yeah.
Those kind of white helmets with a little screen on it. But this was the whole head. It was almost like a big sock or something that had over their head. It was like it was formed, but it it didn't conform to their nose and eyes and stuff. It was just like a shield kind of a thing. But it looked soft. So I didn't, you know, so I only saw maybe between 4 and 8 people there at a time. But it did not seem like it was I could feel my gravity on my body, you know, like standing up and things like that.
Yeah, well, that's a little different than the portal. The portal is you have your body. I had my body, but it was not being used, so to speak. You know, I didn't need my body to be moved through the portal. It was, like you say, just there. And then you were on the other side. Well, the point I was making is somewhere in there I lost time. It wasn't like I just went in the portal and then all of a sudden I'm on the other side. There was a span of time that I spent in that portal where it was just the portal. I was between the two worlds, or the whatever you want to call it, the two dimensions, or you know, that's probably a better description.
3 different states. One is this physical reality. One is the portal itself.
And then there's another physical reality. Yes. And they're not in the same dimension. They're 2 different dimensions.
Okay, so two different dimensions and perhaps some kind of a linking thing, a
Exactly.
transitionary thing.
That's the portal. What is in there other than space? Again, I didn't see anything with my eyes, so I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't experience it. It's lost time. It's lost space. I do not recall being gone when I entered the portal, and from when I got to the other side, why there would be time in there. But there was.
Or inaccurate time, more specifically, time that wasn't the same as on the Earth.
That's a possibility.
Well, Igor Brzezinski, that guy, I think that's his name. I think I butchered his name, but he was telling a story about how his partner, I think is Anthony or something. I forget what his partner's name is, how to pronounce it, but he was taken to a portal in Russia, and in Russia, it was where he was in Russia physically, where they were camping. It was like minus 20 or something, like minus 15 degrees over there. And then he was led to go to this portal, and he actually had to walk through the woods a ways, like a few yards or so deeper into the woods. And then he just went through this sort of like a little transition. He actually went through the portal, like you said, and then he was in this place that was sun shining, summertime, green leaves on the trees, and there was a fire. It was at night. There was a fire, and there was the SASQUATCH and some other creatures there, and they were talking, and they talked to him. Then he came back through the portal, and when he came back, he actually dropped like about a foot or two onto the ground, and he was sweating because he had all his winter clothes on, and he was over in the summertime, and the idea that he dropped onto the snow with his body and had to get up, I thought was astounding. So that I don't know. I'm just giving you feedback of the other persons that I've heard of it. So that I don't know if that fits into your scenario or not, but I thought that was astounding. So that to me that tells me his body was there because he was trying to take off it went from whatever it is 70 degrees to minus 15 degrees. That's pretty profound.
Yeah.
And it was evening over there in dead daylight where he was in his.
But when he came back, there was no change in time, or.
I don't know about the time. Igor didn't talk about the time, but it definitely makes sense because you're not in. I don't see how you can go through a portal and be in regular time. You have to go do something else.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was different because I didn't experience that lapse of time of being gone. Other people did. Other people go, boy, we were getting worried.
There's another guy that I heard about, and he was actually a researcher, and he was out with his research team on a camp out, and of course these guys, they don't know anything about portals, and he just happened to walk into this portal, and everybody around him were you're around a campfire, you're around the camping area, they just saw him disappear. And then like 5 minutes later, he was like on the other side of the campground and just appeared by his truck. So, that's another.
Interesting. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if that was an accidental one or it could have been a teaching by the Sasquatch people putting a portal there just to say, look, this is real. You know what I mean? That's entirely possible too. Or it could have been.
And how did he explain that in his research?
I I don't think he did. I talked to him personally. It was in some conference somewhere, and he didn't really go on about it because we were just talking. We were just talking, you know, and he didn't, and I didn't really know enough to ask more questions about it. I just going, wow, and he didn't talk about it, but his whole team saw that happen, and his little buddies saw it happen.
And so he didn't explain what he experienced.
Yeah, he didn't
during
say
that.
He just said
That.
To him, he didn't feel that much different. He felt like he was just walking over to his truck.
I see, huh?
But that he felt something happen, but to him, it didn't seem like that notable, except for the whole camp out crew of 4 or 5 guys saw it, and we're going like, where did he go? You know, and it was enough amount of time that they had to look around, and eventually, after a few minutes, they saw him
appear by the truck.
Yeah, he was just by the truck. So.
Interesting. No, that's.
How far was the truck from where he disappeared, though? Was the time appropriate, or
yeah, it wasn't that far away, but you know how where you camp in one spot and usually you can see your trucks,
right?
You know, so.
No, but I mean the fact he disappeared says everything. But I'm just wondering how much time he spent there, or, you know, as far as the distance it would have taken him to get to the truck.
Yeah, I would be curious of what he experienced too.
Yeah. So, Richard, what about time loss? Have you ever experienced that?
You just talked about that.
Yeah, that was the problem, and I don't have any.
With portals, we talked about it, but I'm talking about, have you ever gone hiking or something, or been in the woods and it took you, it seemed like 20 minutes going in and 5 minutes coming out, that kind of thing? You ever had that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah. I think, I mean, if somebody doesn't experience that, I find it weird. So.
You know, I'll give you one. They can change your perspective and perceptions or whatever so much. This was a time where they were doing, like, you know, 20 minutes in, 5 minutes out kind of thing. One day they even upped it. I was going uphill, and I swear it looked like I was going downhill, and it felt like exertion-wise I was going downhill. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Yep. Wonderful and bizarre stuff happens out there.
Yeah.
Dale Lyons says, I'm pretty sure I've taken 2 photos of Sasquatches guarding a portal. I believe that. And other people have seen Sasquatch, and other people have seen Dogman around portals or guarding portals. So there's something about that there too.
What do we know about guarding portals? What's the purpose? What are they trying to keep out or from coming in? Why are they guarding it?
Said that there's not everything on the other side is good, and they have to keep it from coming on this side. That's what the dogmen are said to do, is that they make sure that no bad spirits come through the portal onto this side.
Which way are you referring to?
They don't want anything coming into this reality that's not supposed to be here.
In our reality or their reality?
In our
reality.
Couldn't it also?
Supposedly, there's guardians of portals, and the dogmen take on that responsibility. You know, as the story goes. I don't know if any of this is true.
Have you ever seen a dogman, or?
Only in my dreams. I had a series of 4 or 5 dreams in consecutive nights. They're really good people.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, okay. Very friendly.
I'm not familiar with that aspect of it.
Have you ever had a really friendly dog?
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's like that. They got that kind of energy.
Wow.
But at the same time, you know, dogs can be really snarly and protective.
Oh yeah, when they need to be. Absolutely.
Yeah, so they're like that, but also very conscious.
Basically, just like me, Richard.
It's like a dog. It's like a dog with hands.
There you go.
Well, didn't that describe me perfectly? I thought it did. I was thinking. I said, yeah, it hit every point.
Yeah.
All the kind stuff, but then snarly and bites, and and I took it all well. But yeah, I mean, some of that. Wow, I mean, just some of the diversity of experiences that I'm talking to you. I can see just by the way your face lights up and whatever. Like you're clicking on everything I'm saying, and vice versa is amazing. Like zapping, for instance. I've been zapped for probably at least a dozen different reasons, and so many different experiences, and the way it feels, whatever. I remember one time, maybe it was a sensitive area or whatever. It wasn't really threatening. I've never really I've had them say, we don't really want, like, stay away, nothing going on here today, but nothing really threatening or whatever. But I have been zapped where it feels like, Dorothy walking through the poppy field towards the Land of Oz or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And how they're kind of like, they can hardly walk, and it's like they're walking into a force field, and it's really, I've had stuff like that. I've had stuff where I've been actually on my hands and knees. Myself and my friend were actually on our hands and knees crawling around, and we were thinking, I hope nobody comes up on the trail and sees us like this. Couldn't get up.
Huh. Yeah.
But they're all, they're different. I've had like energy shot through my body, like sound wave, like, and and just there's so many diverse kinds of energy things that they can do, and what the reason is for all of them, who knows? But I mean, some of it's healing too, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
I mean, I woke up one time from a sleep in the moss up in the woods, and my entire body was tingling with energy, and I'm sure that was a healing. So it's very diversified, the things they do with the energy and the zapping and stuff. What do you think on that? I'm sure you would concur, but
yeah, you're more on that level than I am, I think. Myself, have I felt extreme or very strong feelings toward them? Absolutely, which is different than what you get on the internet a lot of times. It's people are scared, and I am not scared, or
yeah,
it's the opposite. It's they're guardians versus, and having an antipathy, is that the word?
Well, I would go so far as to say that if I'm out in the woods and there's dangerous, cougars, bears, or whatever, I'm hoping and I trust that my Sasquatch people are going to be there. So, that's the complete 360, right? Like, we know they will protect.
Sure. I agree with that totally. Yeah, it's a matter of is the knowingness. It's not something that you think about particularly. It's just and you're going to get help, whether it's just you're going to do the right thing at the right moment,
right?
Rather than something stupid, if at that moment it calls for you just be quiet and let the animal do whatever it needs to do, then that's what you'll do. If you have a gun and you need to shoot it, then that's what you're going to do. I mean, I carry a gun sometimes, not always. I certainly can't do it if you're going to go through the portal. You don't take a gun to.
You don't take a pop gun to a gunfight, right?
No.
Imagine showing up on the other side with a gun, and they'll.
Yeah.
Their lasers and stuff.
Yeah, that wouldn't work too good.
Like a slingshot.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't work. So, but sometimes I go into the woods for different purposes and different things, and I've been stalked by animals. I mean, if you're in the woods, you're going to experience these things. You know, animals are animals. You know, they have an intelligence, but it's a more instinctive intelligence of, you know, even on, if you want to call it on the heart level, you know, if they feel that you're a threat to them, whoa, they're going to be likewise.
And
they're going to protect themselves.
Let me just interject it, because I'm sorry for interrupting, but they think on the energy level or whatever. That's why they react to our fear. And if you're not, you know, and whatever. So, I mean, they speak that universal energy language, which, you know, so.
Yeah. Am I normally afraid in the woods? I am not. I've been in the woods enough now to not be afraid in the woods.
Right.
You know, do I hardly ever come across an encounter that is threatening to me? Almost never. But it happens. No, with just wild animals.
Right. Okay.
And Sasquatch included. You know, have I encountered bears in the woods? Absolutely, I have. I mean, you go in the woods and there's bears there, eventually you're going to encounter bears, you know. And the only real dangerous situation is if there's cubs. You know, if there's cubs, you better watch your butt, man. Because if you get in between that mama and that cub, yeah, you're bear fodder as far as that bear is concerned until you're out of there. But under normal circumstances, that bear will just look at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a human. I don't want anything to do with that. And they just walk away.
Yep.
That's been my experiences with bears. Now, the one animal that I don't trust is the mountain lion. They scare me. They do. I have some fear, because they are different. They're just a different creature altogether. What kind of intelligence they have, I can't tell you, but it's not minor. They if they want to get you, they will get you, because they can outsmart you in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's not many around, but there's some around here. You know, I saw one that was just absolutely huge. I mean, just unbelievable. People won't believe me how big this mountain lion was. You know, they don't believe me.
It was like bigger than a Great Dane or something?
What's that?
Bigger than a Great Dane?
Lengthwise, absolutely. Now, height-wise, a little different, but lengthwise, I would say 8 feet.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa.
That means just from their butt to their chest or their nose.
To their nose, yeah.
But not including the tails and all that. Yeah,
not including the tail.
So that'd be like 10 or 11 feet if they were to put their arms up on a tree.
Yes, if they stretched out all the way.
That's a gigantic animal.
Yeah, try and imagine meeting that in the woods and not being not being afraid. Or
you met that? You met one?
Fortunately, this animal was after something. They were after other prey or something, and they were moving fast. So it didn't give me any
second thought.
Notice. Yeah, no notice. I don't know if it was after a deer or whatever it was after. But huge. I mean, you don't normally, and you don't normally even see mountain lions, as far as I know. They don't make themselves that visible. If they're there, They know you're there, but you don't know they're there, except for the feeling that you get that you're being watched.
Yeah. Yeah.
Use it up, use it all up. Don't save a thing later. Yeah, this music got that Lennon way. Pounce and drain every ounce if you wait or hesitate. Music that'll help you be tough. Come together on more than Springsteen on most days. It's been enough. Yeah. There's music that can take you away. Use it up, use it all up. Don't save a thing for later. Use it up, use it all up. Don't save a thing for later. Yeah. This music got that stand awake. Try and drain every eye until hatred's eliminated. Music that can help you feel great. Come together in the fictive dream with a kind of Randy Newman take. This music that can take you away. We can jump to our feet, cause nothing is cruel, and even if it is our one, into feasibly cruel, we don't care because you're a fool. I'm a fool. You're a fool. I'm a fool. Music that can take you away. Oh, music that can take you away. Oh, music that can take you away. Music that can take you away. Use it up, use it all up. Don't save a thing for later.
So
Do they let you know that they protect you when you're in the woods, or because I've had that kind of experiences a few times? Or you,
I missed it.
the Sasquatch people, do they let you know that they're watching and protecting you when you're in the woods? I've
Oh
experienced.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm certain of that. Especially if I know they're there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Other times, you know, I wouldn't. I'm not even thinking of that. So
How do you experience it? Like but for me, and this is really brief. I'll go into it really briefly. For me, one time I was camped in a secluded area, and there was easy access from the trail, right? And it was bear season. I'm thinking, geez, you know, bears can, pretty easy access for bears here. And then I got this really strong energy. We're watching, we're protecting you. So
I
that's
see.
kind of how they let me know. How do they let you know?
I've had the feeling that I am cocooned in their protectiveness, or whatever you want to call it.
It's just an energy feeling of.
Yeah, it's just an energy. You know, like I don't have to worry. I mean, there's times where I do worry, you know, a little bit. You know, you're out in the woods. I mean, there's all kinds of things that, you know, that can happen that are unexpected or not under your control so much. So different situations bring about different reactions to them, is all I can say, you know. Where I'm especially careful, you know, in certain circumstances where I wouldn't be in others.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, but that said, I mean, when I say I feel that they're protecting me out there, and you do too, you still don't want to tell people to go there and be stupid. You still want to be, you know, you still want to be responsible.
Yeah, I mean,
not run up and start hugging a bear or something.
Oh, no. And I'm very careful of other humans out there. You know, I'm not that trusting of other humans in the woods, if you want to know the truth. You know, so if I see other people, you know, and they don't see me, I remain invisible. You know, I can be invisible, just like the Sasquatch. You know, they can look right at me and not see me.
How do you tell us more about that?
But you've never experienced that, where there are other people out there and you're standing there and they don't see you. You know, it's just a matter of you're not.
Like right in front of you?
Well, not right. No. You know, from a little distance across the creek or whatever.
Oh, of course.
You know, and I'm not hiding. I'm just invisible. I'm not hiding behind a tree or anything. I'm just being invisible.
Well,
and I am.
I've taken the step, the next step sometimes. Sometimes I will hide behind a tree. If I see somebody who, you know, when I'm doing my thing, and I know somebody that I've met there before, and they're just like, I know they just want to talk and stuff, and then
I see.
I'll hide because
if I came along, right?
Yeah, because it's gonna ruin my thing. So I'll hide on them.
Yeah. If that Rensbury character comes along, I'll get behind a tree.
Well, I would be right under the stuff. I'd have a bunker under the ground just for, you know, just in
probably
case.
Be a good idea, because I'd probably have my gun with me.
You got the cover of your book out there printed yet? You got a copy of your new book?
Not yet. No, that isn't finished yet.
Oh, yeah.
What was it called again?
Part 2, right?
Sorry.
The Awakening.
The Awakening Part 2, right? Or something
no,
like that.
It's The Awakening. The other books are, the first one is Conversations with Sasquatch, The Encounter. That's where things got started. You know, the reacquaintance with the forest people from a long trip into humanness, if that's what you want to call it. You know, having a job and all that good stuff, to the return to, you know, now I don't necessarily have a 9-to-5 job or anything. I do what I want to do. I'm free, you know, I'm a free being. So that's where the first book picks up, is my re-entrance into the Sasquatch world. And then the second book is my trip to crossover, which is through the portal into their land, into their universe. and back. And the third book is I haven't been back through the portal or anything. And it's just on this side, and it's the lessons that they taught me there that I'm trying to put into practice here in the human world. They have some good lessons to teach, and that's being of the heart, like Brian says. That's very important. Energy, the high thought frequencies, rather than being trapped in the world of the TV and all. That's all an illusion. Yeah. Getting out of the illusion back into the natural state of who we are versus all this pretend existence that we get caught up in. It's not necessary if we work together. If we don't work together, and it's all money oriented, like Brian said, there's not a chance of getting back to who we really are. And that's what the Sasquatch want, because that stops the destruction of this world, which will also help them in their world, where this stuff, especially when we've gotten into the electronic age, where it's bleeding through, it gets through the portals. It does not, a portal allows that through into their world, and it starts affecting their juveniles and everything. If you start hearing, the broadcast of, I don't know, the forecast, the broadcast of pork and beans starts going into the Sasquatch world. you get some, the Council of Elders is not too happy.
Well, that what you're talking about is really, 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 really serious. And I think what you just mentioned is actually key to everything. In my view, it goes like this. Let's say we've had 7,000 years of war and corrupt kings, right? And that's part of our world. And then we've had, 5,000 years of religion that was corrupted and used for oppression and used for terror and for suppression, right? And then we had, thousands of years where they've gone and taken all the indigenous people, the Druids and the Vikings, and all those people, they pretty much eliminated them. And when we came over to America, we eliminated the indigenous people, which was the connection to the earth. And what we're left with is inside of us, we carry this world, right? And when we carry the world of the past within us, that's what creates and sustains the world now and builds the world of the future. It is not this corporation or these nasty people. It was our collective holding of the negativity of the trauma and the dramas and the suppression and slavery and abuse that we've got for basically our whole world's been created out of that. But that's not the true world at all.
It isn't the true world.
It isn't the true world. It is an imprint. It is imprinted on us, but it is not it's not us.
No, it's not. It absolutely is not. And I had a thought there that, it becomes an automatic reaction versus a just the beingness, rather than just being, you got all this automatic, when this thing happens, you react this way. This thing happens, you react this way. That is an illusion.
Yeah.
It's very clear to me, but it's not very clear sometimes to a lot of other people. I mean, I can see it. I see it happen every day. I mean, rather than being a free being, most people are completely on an automaticity.
They're reacting for sure.
They're only reacting. They're not even.
And a lot of it is hiding and shrinking and all this kind of stuff, which is what the whole point of the exercise is, with the fear programs and the scamdemic and war on terror and war on, and then 200 school shootings and 9/11 and killing the president and all this stuff, boom after boom after boom. It puts people into shock, and their frontal lobes just shut down. And
I can't
talking about it like a kind of like a zombie reality of action and reaction. It has nothing to do with the truth.
Yeah, I had more faith in people before this pandemic thing. This pandemic thing scares me. Not the pandemic. It's the reaction that scares me.
Yeah.
Why don't people just go, that's an illusion. You're creating an illusion. Because that's all it is. It's not.
Well, I'd have to say, I think about this a lot. I have to say it has to do with childhood trauma. And that sounds like a catch-all, but like I said, like my generation, all of our parents were in the World War II, and it was a big shock of the World War II, right?
Yeah, a lot of trauma.
And then we got into the hippies, and then there's that, and then right at the end of the hippies was the black people were trying to get their rights back, right? And that was rioting and burning, and then it was like perpetual wars and corruption, and just went on and on and on. And what this does is it closes down the mind, a rational, clear thinking mind. So people, they literally cannot think. The numbers are is 66% of the people in the United States are either binge drinkers or binge drinker because of pain, or they're on psychotropic drugs for depression, drugs for anxiety, drugs for panic attacks. Okay, so you got 66% of the people in the United States are already traumatized enough. This is fact.
Oh, I know. I'm very familiar with the psychotropic drugging, and how it's even with kids, these days.
And so you take one more. It's like that. It's like they just keep heaping on trauma after trauma. Cover your mouth. Your kids, this, and what I mean. It just goes on and on and on. And it's like at some point you can't deal with it anymore. You take hurt people and you hurt them more. So there's very few people who are not traumatized so much that they can't rationalize. The people who are speaking out are the ones who haven't quite got that level of trauma.
I see.
So that just puts it down from 350 whatever is 40 million down to around 110 million people that have even got a clue what's going on. And of them, a lot of them are rich and they don't care about none of this stuff. But then the
they
people
don't care about us either.
Yeah, they don't care about us, but they're not traumatized. They're doing the trauma. Some of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good childhood and everything. I was never traumatized, and I'm fortunate in that way. I mean,
people don't actually know that they're traumatized. I mean, there's people who were getting beaten every week, right? And they go, well, that's just the way Dad was. Or that's just the way Mom was. No, wait a minute. That's not. That's they don't recognize, because there was love and then there was this abuse and put downs, and they were made to be a joke or whatever, like some people we can talk about, so you see what I'm saying? They don't even know. They do not even know. Like the racist people don't know they're being racist, and the traumatized people don't know they're being traumatized. They don't know. You know what I mean? But
Because they haven't experienced anything else in this lifetime. I understand that.
And they call that love. They call that life. Well, that's life. It's a hard life. It's life. And they have good times too. You know, they go to parks and they go to camping and they do nice things and they have fun, you know, but the trauma's still there. In other words, investing in this world or shocked and traumatized by this world so that, you know, there's a lot of people just don't care at all about this world. You know what I mean? They're just shut down to it. They don't want to hear about it. Oh, okay, I got to take a vaccine. Okay. There's no thought at all. They're just running on automatic like zombies.
Yeah.
It's sad, actually.
Hey, Neil.
Howdy, guys.
Thought I'd invite you back because we actually have a connection now. Have you met Richard?
I have not.
I have not met Richard. This is the first time I was just listening to you guys for about the last 20 minutes.
Oh, well, you missed our big fight. We had an epic fight, Beans and I. You missed that.
Yeah.
No fight. You're good the way you are, but you know, but like I said, somebody pokes you, you're gonna get poked back. Neil's like a great UFO ET kind of contact history. He's got a really wide scope of that, and he's also got just beginning to get into the SASQUATCH friendship kind of a thing. So
when you tell
today, it was just fabulous. It was just, you know,
tell Richard a little bit about yourself. Oh, sorry, Bean.
What's that now?
Tell Neil, tell Richard a little bit about yourself and the guests.
And Richard's an author, and he talks about portals and stuff.
Yeah, that's where I tuned in when he was talking about the dogmen and the Sasquatch outside of the portal, guarding the portals.
Right. Now, I was wondering, I have a question. Now, is there guards on the other end, or is the guard cover both entry and exit? Are there?
You asking who?
I don't know. Well, maybe Neil. What do you think on that, Neil? Do you know about the guardians at the portals?
No, this is the first time that I heard anything in regards to that.
Oh, okay.
Where is Richard from?
I'm from northern Michigan.
Okay. I live in Ohio.
Yeah, I'm in the hot spot up here where it used to be the Bigfoot convention and stuff for the Michigan Magazine.
Uh-huh.
This is before my time as far as returning here. I didn't know it until I researched it later after the experiences. Now I understand why it was such a hot spot. So it's near Cummins. It's
okay.
It's about 100 miles south of the Mackinac Bridge. I'm in the northern Lower Peninsula.
When you say hotspot, Richard, what do you tell us what you mean? Like what kind of stuff goes on there?
Well, there's been a lot of other sightings here besides me. You know, I'm not the only one that's experienced.
But I mean, are you just talking Sasquatch? You're talking UFO activity, paranormal activity? It's like one of those areas, or it's just talking specific to Sasquatch?
Well, this is where the portals are.
Okay.
I do not know of anywhere else. Of course, I haven't had experiences anywhere else. So that leaves me in the dark as far as other people's experiences and what there's, and you've said there's been people that find that they guard these portals. I wouldn't know where those portals are or anything.
Well, I'm talking, I've heard that, and Beans knows a little bit about it. I don't know much about it. Yeah.
So when I'm speaking of a hot spot, yeah, this is an area where there's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I call it a very spiritual place. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
And I have not experienced this in other locations except for very, very few. I have experienced it elsewhere, but very few.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think my place is kind of like that, and like a place like Mount Shasta that is famous.
Yes, I have heard that, and I've been to Mount Shasta myself too.
And you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, it's a different place.
Do any of you guys, Neil or Richard, know anything about, like, are there? I've heard there are, like, aliens living in Mount Shasta in the mountains.
That's what I've heard, but I wouldn't know.
Neil might know that.
I've heard a lot of stuff about a base being in Mount Shasta.
Tell us about it.
Well, it seems to be like there's the two stories that are about bases out there. There's the stories of bad reptilians that are out there, and that's where the whole missing 411 people talk about. All these people are disappearing, and it feeds that story. And then there's other people. There is some link to a Lemurian civilization that there's a base with the Star People in Mount Shasta, and those seem to be the two major stories, depending on what your belief structure is in regards to whether something nefarious is going on. They talk about a similar base being in the Archuleta Mesa in New Mexico, and that it's a joint. There's rumors that there's a joint military and gray base that does all sorts of experimentation on people and things like that in the Archuleta Mesa. But I'm all for taking all that with a big grain of salt. I've never been out to Mount Shasta. What did you think about it, Richard? You said that did you have any experiences or contact experiences while you were out there?
I did not, but it has that energy about it. It's a different place.
Mm-hmm.
It's not,
Let me ask you then. So you recognize it, because you talked about your place being special. Well, you gather your thoughts. So you recognize the energy is similar to your place?
No, it's a different kind of energy. I would have to say it's more on the line that Neil was talking about as far as the reptilian influence and stuff. It is not necessarily a positive energy.
Ah.
So you felt something ominous while you were there?
Yes, that's a good word for it. You put the word right in my mouth on that one. That's the perfect word.
Well,
I find that interesting.
That's what I would trust, because energy. I mean, because somebody told me the other day that man invented language so that they could lie.
So they could lie?
Yeah, so that they could lie. Right. So I know you're an author, and you didn't want to hear that, Richard, but unfortunately, you're a liar.
Well, again, I admit I'm an author, and not everything I say is the truth. If you take everything I say as the gospel truth, you're going to get a big surprise, because
I thought that was funny, though, being an author, like me telling you that language is was invented.
I actually love the language. I think the language has been developed pretty good to pretty much fully describe something if you're careful with it. That the language is quite good.
Yes, I know. And I'm making fun of it. But I'm also serious in the sense that, like, I do believe in the Sasquatch, and people, taught me this or whatever, that energy is the true universal language. That is the real language of connection, is energy.
It means everything. I mean, if we're going to rise above all this illusion that I keep talking about, it's going to be through energy. We have to be above that crap. and not agree with it. It's a disagreement with it. You know, you do disagree. You don't agree with that energy that's so negative. You have to be able to rise above it and more collective. When you talk about collectiveness, Brian, it's that once the collective energy is above the negative energy, it will blow it out of the water. It cannot stand up to the creativeness and the high energy of beings that are, you know, not subscribing to that.
And that's why when, you know, like people who overthink things and get too emotionally involved and they want to fix the whole world and that's just too big, I tell them, like, look, just focus your energy in the positive places, you know, and work on yourself. And I mean, that because like you said, once that energy tilts, that's when everything is going to change or whatever. So that is the best thing that we can do. Buying into the negativity, whether you're on the side of defeating it from your perspective or the other side, you're still buying into a fear thing and putting your energy towards it. So it works either way. So take your focus take your focus away from that and put it into light thoughts and stuff like that. I mean, even if you're crusading, like, you know, the biggest crusader against whatever cause you have, but you're totally focused in on it, and it's all, you know, like in a negative way against the opposition thoughts or whatever, that's still not good. Right?
No, you need to focus on the solutions and not the problems.
But the solution is raising our vibrations. That's the big solution. The solution isn't putting a Band-Aid on it's not the little guy. Remember the little guy, the Dutch guy with his finger in the well?
Yeah.
Trying to stop the big leak? That's what that's like.
Yeah. No, there's lots of things we can put on our energy into that are extremely high frequency. Yes. Yeah.
So Neil, we had a really, really bad connection last time. So what were some of the things we were touching on that, and you know, it was so screwed up that I didn't even record the thing. So, so do you want to really revisit some of the stuff you talked? Well, it was a horrible internet anyway.
You didn't record it?
Well, it wouldn't have worked anyway. It was terrible. I'm recording this one. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm not worried. I'm not worried in any way, shape, or form. We talked
Facebook. All you got to do is download from Facebook, and you got a good show.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I saw
you got like 600 or 700 views, which is pretty good for a pork and bean show.
Well, we used to have 3,000 at one time.
Yeah, then they found out what the show's about.
So what is the connection between Sasquatch and the UFOs, Neil? I know we talked on that before, but how do you see it? Because you have experience with UFOs and you're getting into the Sasquatch. So where are you on that? What's your view?
Well, you know, my whole experience, the one experience that I had where I had contact with them showing up in my car and my car filling up with the skunk smell and the whole heart zap thing that you were talking. That to me just was so odd. I wasn't expecting any of that. The vibe I get is that, and the connection that I get is that they're star beings as well. Like when I started to get the connection, or this like last fall, they started trying to connect with me, and all of a sudden I'm like, what's this energy that I'm getting? All of a sudden I'm getting called by Sasquatch, and I'm like, I know nothing about Sasquatch, you know, but I felt their presence around me, and I felt their energy around me, and then things like things in my day-to-day world started pushing me. Or coming into my peripheral and teaching me about Sasquatch. And then I had the experience, and the energy to me is just, it's so similar to the star being contact, all except the message, as I said, they reached out to me. I felt like because the connection was already there, I can telepath with these other beings when I have contact. And all of a sudden I felt like something, I felt this on, and then I realized that it was Sasquatch. And then all these pieces of the puzzle just like synchronously started falling into place. Like, I'd meet, before I had my first experience, I met Barbara and heard about her experience. And then at the same time, and teaching me about some of my starseed connection. And that's when I started learning then from him about Sasquatch and about how they communicate and how they communicate with him. And there seems to be, where I'm at with it now, with like looking into this and looking at the wide range of people that are into Bigfoot and Sasquatch, I feel like you've got several different camps of people with different ideology about what's going on. And I feel like I fit firmly with what you guys got going on, and that there's a whole spiritual side to Sasquatch that is tied in with the whole metaphysical part of it. And I don't believe that these things are living in some parts of their habitat. They're out there a lot. Like Michael and I were having this conversation the other day when we first spoke. I asked him about where he thinks the majority of the time they're spending their time. Are they living in a cave? Are some of them natural habitat is to remain in the woods, and then other ones hang out on starships. There seems to be a to me there has to be some sort of explanation for the fact that so many people go out looking for them all over the place. And they're very elusive. They're able to pop from point A to point B and be different things, shape shift into different things. I totally believe that. All the Native American stories that talk about similar things, and then also tied in with the U.S. encounters with Sasquatch. There's just so much of it that I think it's ridiculous to ignore it, because I've had all these crazy UFO experiences in my life that totally blew my mind and made me look at things in a much different light. And when I had the recent UFO or the recent Sasquatch experience in the fall last year, that's when I realized that I had the experience in Florida with the thing that screamed in the woods, and I'm almost positive that was a Sasquatch. I feel like they travel around with different groups of ETs.
Interesting. Well, they do. They haven't seen getting in and out of ships, and like Bean says, they're the fifth or sixth or something most common entity seen on a ship, right, Bean?
Yeah, there's different kind of occupations for Sasquatch, just like there's humans, and there's Sasquatch who have fleets of aircraft, of spacecraft. And they're doing the same kind of things that the Greys are doing. Or the Sasquatch are doing it in South America, and the Greys are doing it in the northern hemisphere. So there's a whole class of ETs of Sasquatch that are spacebound. That's what they do. They're space people. And then there's the ones that are on the ground here doing protecting the Mother Earth, monitoring Mother Earth, and being in the woods and stuff. And just like we are, we have farmers and people who work on the land, and we have people who work in the space industry or airplane pilots. So I think that's a pretty nice way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree.
And we have teachers and healers, and they have teachers and healers.
Yeah, but their teachers and healers are on a whole different level than ours.
I don't
These
know.
guys-
You know, I've met some pretty amazing humans. So I don't know. I don't know for a fact on all of that. The Sasquatch that I've been connected to, pretty high beings. You know, archangel class, earth spirits, way up there. Like, you know, just way up there. But there's some humans that have been get pretty high too. So that's hard to judge on that level. It gets up there beyond words.
Yeah, yeah, but they are definitely they can do some pretty amazing things, like all the stuff that Neil was talking about, shape shifting, being in one place just with a mere thought, all that stuff. Wow, it's over 100 degrees here now. It's just turned noon. Wow, muggy.
Yeah, it's going to be a warm one.
I'm in BC. Like, we don't get 100 very often. After this show, I'm going out and I'm just going to lay out in the moss or
We're at
something.
86.
Yeah.
It's been getting warmer the last couple of days.
Yeah, but
raining here.
It's only noon here. You know, what's the height of the heat? 3 or 4 or something in the day. Anyway, it's going to be well into the hundreds. That's uncalled.
Around there.
Are we having a problem with everybody, or is it just Neil is kind of bad? Am I breaking up, guys?
It's just Neil, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, his connection kind of winks out once in a while.
Do you want to try to reconnect, Neil, or whatever? Or we have, or just
Sure.
okay. Yeah, the first time I heard of the UFO, I mean, I thought it was nonsense when I was a kid. Remember, was it in Minnesota? Richard, are you a historian on that? There was something going on in Minnesota where people were seeing, I thought it was Minnesota, people were seeing Sasquatch get into spaceships for a number of days or whatever, and the police came out, and it was quite a well-documented story. Do you remember that?
No, not familiar. Nope, not familiar with it. Sorry.
Okay, how about you, Mr. Beans?
We had Preston Dennett on here, and he was talking about all kinds of stuff.
He was talking about that, yeah. Well, my point was is that when I heard that, you know, like, and when I was a teenager or whatever, I thought that was a little bit ridiculous. I thought, oh, these guys are out there. I hadn't, you know. But now, of course, I've seen them together and other phenomenon going on at the same time. So yeah, it definitely is. They definitely are connected with the Star Nations people. And the reason I didn't think so maybe before is I didn't realize how evolved they actually were. You know, they're actually on a much higher vibration than we are. So that was a disconnect, I guess, there at that time. Do we have any more questions, Beans? Anything?
No more questions yet.
Okay. So, Richard, The Awakening is your new book. And basically, it's about waking up people to who their true nature is. Is that how you describe it? Or what's the book about?
It's about life after crossover, you know, where I saw into their world and what they have to offer to our world. And it's just an educational process. I've connected with certain people since then, in a way to help advance the getting back to who we really are versus, oh boy, after you experience that, it's so hard to look at the reality being created here, which is so artificial. If you want artificial intelligence, we have it. It's called human beings at this point, because they're not real. They're not being you know, the best explanation is yours. They're not being of the heart. They're being of
the lies, the mind, and the programming.
An implant into their brain, being implanted by certain forces that exist in this world that want people to be uncreative and want them just to be slaves for the most part. So that is not the way of the Sasquatch, you know. That is, and I doubt if that's the way of the ETs. You know, I've never had an ET experience, so I can't speak on that subject. But I would assume if they're not of the reptilian mentality, that they're of the Sasquatch mentality, which is to help the human race rise on that side of the equation, then rise on the reptilian side of the equation. And right now it's on the reptilian side of the equation that humanity is existing, and they need to step out of that mentality and become life force versus life killing, you know, the killing of the spirit and the heart, which is going on at a rapid pace. But we've also got at this time that enlightenment seems to be coming out. The Sasquatch and everybody are stepping out, and they're doing something, whether it's just when the portals were open, we're pouring good energy into this universe, you know, into our world. And I'm sure the stars people, the star seeds or whatever, are doing the same thing, because I've seen an increase in awareness and higher energy. At the same time, I've seen the negative rise up. And I think it's a battle right now that, you know, we haven't won yet. You know, the good have not won the battle over the evil, if that's what you want to call it. I hate putting terms on these things, but that's the kind of the reality of it. Hollywood is so far from reality of who we really are, and that's what people subscribe to. You know, it's this constant outpouring of this illusion that has trapped people. And if you meet Sasquatch, you will become untrapped.
Yeah.
You know, believe me, you will no longer see that illusion as reality, because it's not. You know, it's a complete illusion.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, yeah. And, you know, and also we, you know, like when kids are brought into the world, they're innocent and they see their ancestors and they're talking to people, you know, like their grandmothers or entities or whatever, and they're open to everything. But right away we start programming with all the lies that we've been programmed with, as we take all that innocence, take them further and further and further away from who we really are. Well, we got to start at that. We got to start at that, and you know, encourage these kids that, you know, like for one thing, that, yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the Awakening book, is show that there is something different than that illusion, and it's not all coming just from our own creativity. We have help. You know.
You know, the raising your vibration thing is so simple.
A lot of help.
Yeah.
The raising your vibration thing is so simple, you know. I mean, it just, think about something nice, like something you really like, and then think of something you don't like, and see how you feel, what the difference it makes you feel. Well, the way they got us programmed is that we're feeling like the negative part all the time, and how the hell are we going to feel good or rise up?
Well, you don't even know it's negative when you're caught up into it.
Because it's natural. It's human, you know. human nature to judge and all this stuff. All this stuff has become human nature from programming, but it's not our nature.
Right.
Not our nature at all. It's not who we are.
You know, I don't find it easy all the time. I mean, I can't say that, you know, I mean, there's times I want a rocket launcher on the top of my car. You know, I want to get rid of some of these idiots, you know, but it goes away.
And you should, and we should get rid of those idiots. Absolutely should, but not the idiots that are on the outside. We need to get rid of the idiots that have been bound to us, like the images of Hitlers and the images of wars and the images of suffering and the images of addiction and the images. We carry this stuff around inside of us, and what we carry inside of us is what manifests in the future. So when we say this is bad, I don't want this, you know, get rid of that. We need to, you know, kill them, hang them, burn the world down, whatever we got to do on the inside to clear out our principalities, because they're foreign agents, foreign entities that have taken up residence inside of us. This is what bonded trauma is all about.
Yeah, but we got to clear it out with compassion, right?
Think about this. Who are we? First of all, who are we? We are energy beings, right? We're not physical beings, we're energy beings. And we go on from lifetime for lifetime, planet to planet, and so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what do we actually do? So what is that actually? We have this experience and that experience and all this kind of stuff. We have interchanges and fights and loving and all that kind of stuff. That what the only thing that we actually do as beings is write into the book of life. They call it the Akashic Records or the book of life, right? When you go to heaven, you're an energy being. Everybody loves you. Everybody's patting you on the back. You made it. Yeah, we love you. No problems, no judgment. And then at some point, you go and look at this book of life and you review every interaction you've had with people, every thought, every feeling, everything, right? The entire content of your consciousness is written in the book of life. What I'm saying now to everybody, to us four, and to everybody who's going to in the future, is being written in their book of life and has been written in my book of life. And if you understand that this is what's going on, and that when we become conscious of our book of life, when we become conscious of the Akashic Records, which is our karma. What's in the book of life is our karma. What was in our book of life the last 2 or 3 or 10 lifetimes is what's manifesting now. Yeah. The people who are manipulating us, they know that if they imprint us with trauma and drama and fear, and they imprint us with being a slave, being helpless, being hopeless, being small, being petty, being poor, being, you know, put us with all this stuff, then that's what's going to manifest in the future.
Exactly.
So critically important for us. Like we bitch and moan about what's going on in the world. Well, we should take it beyond that, because if we fight back, that fighting back is saying, no, this is not right. This is immoral. This is genocide. This is insanity. We don't want this. I don't want that. That gets written in the book of life. And then that becomes the karma. You see what I'm saying? We got that. How we think, how we feel, and how we project out in there. Are we playing the victim, you know, or are we the victors, the victors? You know, when we write victory after victory into the book of life, then that becomes the reality. Yeah.
Yes, it's our creation.
Understanding, huh?
It's our creation. We create
creation.
What the future is going to be.
Our transactional experience of the world, of our thoughts, of the reality, becomes the fact. Look, when you build a house on a bare piece of land, first you have to imagine it. Then you have to make a drawing, right? And the drawing is just a piece of paper. And then you can begin to build the house. And this is the same way. they fill us up with fear and dread and helplessness and hopelessness or anger and frustration and rage and all this kind of stuff. But we don't know the difference between the outside and the inside. What is inside of us is we call us, but it is not us. It is the religion, the language. Like, I'm not speaking Chinese now. I am American speaking English, right? But that's also not who I am. You see?
Yeah.
So if we become conscious, instead of making our we have to make our subconscious conscious, or become conscious that what we feel now and what's happening to us now is being written. Our interactions is written in the book of life. And then when you die and you come back, that book of life is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And you have new opportunities. But the themes, war has not ended for 7,000 years. Poverty has not ended for 7,000, 10,000 years, right? Governments are just as corrupt now as they've been ever. There's been just purposeful democide, right? Well, democide is when the government kills its own people. That's been going on for a long time. You know, think of the, what do you call it? The burning of witches. What did they call that? When they burn the witches? That was the what was the name of that? Remember, it was the
witch hunt.
No, there was actually a name for it. It was the church that did it. It was
It was in Salem, right? Salem witch hunts. I'm trying to think.
That was the Salem witch hunts, but it was going on in Europe for 400 years, where they would burn people alive for being spiritual, for being witches. A witch is herbalist, people who are herbalists, spiritual people, nature people. All that trauma is inside of us. And why did we lose our connection to spirit? Because it was traumatized out of us and killed out of us. They took our elders, they took our teachers, they took our wisdom keepers. They made a split between us and the Sasquatch. That's why they're trying to kill Sasquatch en masse now. They got 10 different agencies out there trying to kill Sasquatch. That's probably why they're closing up the portals now. So they're making it harder for these agencies to get to the Sasquatch and kill them. Right?
I did get a message, though, from my clan the other day about that. They said they're fine. They said they're fine. My guys in particular, they're not worried about it.
Yeah, well, you're Canadian.
Yeah, so I do have a question.
No, what they told me is that they have ways that they can't find them no matter what.
That's good. That's good.
That's what my clan said anyway. But
it's okay to fight.
But we all know
that inner battle. And you know that this stuff that is imprinted in you is not you. It is evil. It's like an evil infection that you want to get rid of inside of you.
Yes.
And it gets back to what you guys were saying about raising your vibration. When you raise your vibration, and it's this stuff, our entire history that's holding us down, and it's like these lead weights of, parental abuse, stuff that we had to do at work, and being treated like economic slaves and stuff. Well, we can fight that, because that's not who we are. We're intergalactic beings.
No, matter of fact, we're probably exactly total opposite of who we are, and that's by design, because we're easy to control that way. And it's ridiculous.
This is why the ETs are coming to help us en masse, thousands and thousands of different ET groups. Because of this thing. If we hold the energy of corruption, if everything about us is corrupted, right? We're connected to the whole universe. The whole, and all the spiritual planets around the whole universe can feel the corruption that's happening on Earth now. That they're coming to help themselves and come to help us, because they don't want to have to feel the bleed over. And because we're all one, they call us, the space people call us brothers, and the Sasquatch call us brothers, right? And Christ said, and this is important, Christ said, I and my brothers are one, and I and my Father are one, right? So what happens to us affects everybody, and that's why there is, you could call it a battle between good and evil, but it's more like a battle of sovereignty, you know, of our own soul.
I agree. I agree.
And we can rewrite it. We can rewrite it because if you deal with when somebody deals with their trauma, I had a bad childhood, my dad had neglected me, or my mom abused me, or whatever, right? When you deal with your trauma from the past, you actually go back, have conversations, you shout and argue with your mom, or you what did it, blah, 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 right? And just eliminate that whole connection there. You're actually traveling in the past to heal your now. And this is a very profound thing. You re-edit the ending of the story. Yeah, my mom used to beat me with a belt, but then you go back and you scream at her and say, "You have no right. You know, who are you?" And you know, and you on the inside, you just run the end of the movie where you win. And when you win and you eliminate that problem, when you eliminate that, it's like PTSD, right? When you eliminate it, it doesn't bother you anymore, right? So, and that's what's recorded in the book of life. Not that you're a victim of your parents, but that you went back eventually and you became a sovereign being again. You won. You broke that tie. Yeah. I and my father won. I and my brother won. But Christ also said this thing about, people say I come for peace. He said, I don't come for peace. I come with a sword. I come with a sword to go and so you can fight, the man can fight against his father, and the daughter against the mother, and the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law, right? And that is to break that imprints of what happened growing up so that you become a sovereign being again, right? You eliminate, you rewrite the story, and that goes into the book of life. Is this making sense, what I'm saying?
Absolutely. We're on the same page.
Yep. What page was that in the book of life? What page was that? 672, right?
Go and see. Or as the gurus used to say, die and see.
Yeah.
No, I agree with all of
that. You're going to see the book of life when you die.
You speaketh the sooth.
But you can't edit the book of life when you're dead. You can only edit the book of life while you're alive, because it takes the conscious and subconscious mind to work through it.
But will I be able to read the book of Dr. Zeus, though? That's my question. Or is that
what?
I'm trying to tell you.
The book of Dr. Zeus isn't.
We had lots of
preach
books.
The gospel of beans. This is the gospel of beans, and I'm the representative of all the beaners. The bean congregation.
No, I just meant whatever. I mean, Dr. Zeus is banned now.
If you want freedom, the freedom has to be on the inside.
Absolutely.
And it has to be, if there's a war going on in your what they call the kingdom of heaven, you have to clear out the bad guys out of your kingdom, right? And make your kingdom without any principalities, without any invaders, without any, what do you call it, historians and bad guys, and what are those people, traitors and
interlopers.
And all, you know, clear all that stuff out. You know, I have this saying that goes, when you take responsibility for your pain, you are handed your divinity upon ending your pain. And that's the direction that we're going to. If you don't end your pain, then you're a perpetual victim.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, that's.
But when you do end your pain, all of a sudden you're the victor, and you are the one who is in charge of your inner kingdom. You are the one who has taken the responsibility. You've taken your kingship of, I don't want anything to hurt me, and I don't want anything to hurt anybody in my inner world, which is actually the outer world.
Yeah.
But first, you have to do the inner world.
Well, yeah, it's like it's kind of like this is on a very rudimentary level, but I'm sure it's the same kind of thing. Like people never get well or ever solve their problems when they do not take accountability that they might have something to do with them. Somebody's always blaming somebody outside of themselves. Problem never goes away. You have to address it inside, right? It's the same kind of thing as if you're talking about it on a universal level. You know, these guys like, oh, well, I can't do it because this guy. And you know what, man? You're never going to do it until you take accountability. which is what you're talking about.
But the opposite of human, right? There's good and evil, white and dark, man and woman, but the opposite of human is the universe. That's the opposite of human. So whatever we do inside affects the universe.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, so working like we were all saying, working on your insides and putting out that good vibration or whatever is the best work that we can do. I think.
After the best work we can do is to end the pain, because it is the pain that keeps you in victimhood. Once you end your pain, then you can increase the vibe, because there's a lot of people out there smoking joints and taking psilocybin and stuff, and they got trying to get their vibe high. Meanwhile, they're sitting on a load of pain, right? So they got their vibe going high, and they're sitting on a load of pain, and that just doesn't work. You have to end the pain first, and then you can raise your vibration. If not, you're just putting what they call it, lipstick on a pig.
Well, I don't know. Yes and no, but I mean, when I got that love zap, that wasn't putting lipstick on a pig, and I don't know if I ended all my pain. But that certainly wasn't lipstick on a pig.
But you weren't like what do you do? Smoking dope and taking psilocybin mushrooms and try to raise your vibration that way. It just was a gift that was given to you, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and it always is. That's the way it always is.
Yeah.
But I mean, but I didn't do anything specifically to end my pain, although I did have that time when I was looking at it and addressing it from a detached perch and observed it. Remember we talked about that? So I guess I did work on that somewhat.
And when they gave that experience to you, you were not in pain.
No, I wasn't. I was observing it as a neutral observer.
And that's what I'm talking about, is the end of pain.
Right. I agree with you.
Is your divinity. And so that now, if there is any pain, I mean, I don't know who you are on the inside, but if there is any pain, that's what would keep you from going back to that state, is what I'm saying. You can't get back to that state by,
Yes, your pain always takes you back to that lower. Yes, I agree. If you're still not dealing with that pain, you're eventually going to have to go back and deal with it. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's all part and parcel to the whole thing.
Sam Chandler says
which I feel very dirty now
by healing ourselves. I agree. Sam's on the ball.
Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam says we heal the world by healing ourselves, and nothing could be more profoundly true than that. And that's what we're all doing. I think that's what the SASQUATCH are doing.
Yeah, like that's what I keep telling some of my friends or whatever. Like, they're on these crusades or whatever, but they're just running around like rabbits with their heads cut off, or chickens with their heads cut off or whatever, because their vibration is low with fear, right? I said, get away from that. Take your vibration to a place of positivity. Work on yourself. Don't have your reality coming fear-based from the outside and being who you are. That's what you're doing when you're doing that, right? So.
Absolutely, and like Richard,
it's simple.
The issue that we have in the world is people really do not know the difference between their outside and their inside. Your skin in is the inside, skin out is the outside, and if you get that clear, you want to clear out the inside issues that you have, and the outside issues are going to take care of themselves. But that's not what we do. When you reach out to fix this, or reach out to make more money, or reach out for a companion, or reach out for some kind of fame or fortune, or you reach out for knowledge, or whatever you're reaching out for, you're reaching out away from yourself. And therefore you're kind of like admitting that you don't know, you're powerless, you're hopeless, or you're ignorant, or whatever, right? That's all fine and well. But if you reach on the inside and resolve your inner conflicts, resolve your issues, then you're not going to need to know everything. You're not going to need you're not going to need the angels and the archangels and the gods and everything to come and help you, right? That's just like a symptom of you not taking care of yourself, or not knowing how to take care of yourself on the inside. So we reach out and we want this God or this guru or this Sasquatch or this ET person to come and save us, because we don't know and value what's going on the inside, our ability to be powerful beings on the inside. We don't index that. We don't, it's like there's some kind of taboo against being inside yourself or knowing yourself, right? So it's always the outside. That's a bad loop, because nothing really does. You know, you stick your hand in a lion's mouth and he bites it off. That's outside you.
Who's easier to control?
Again, and expect him to put it back on. It doesn't work that way. Pretty much you have to take care of what's going on inside you first. And then, you know,
who's easier
the need for enlightenment, the need for ascension, the need for all these kind of things that we think we need is not there. The Sasquatch don't talk about ascension. You know what I mean? They don't talk about God realization or love and elevation and all that stuff. They're already there. You know what I'm saying? They're the examples of it. So are the ETs. Most of them are there already. They're the examples of it. And the ETs don't say, you know, they say, yeah, you can raise your vibration, but you know, they're not saying you need to do all this kind of stuff. All you need to do is stop the pain from the past from bleeding over into the future. When you do that, you become from a zero to a hero, from a victim to the victor.
Well said.
I was going to applaud, but I thought he would think I was being sarcastic. No, that was very well said.
Well, it was Richard that got me going on this, because his observation about, you know, the way.
Is Richard awake?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I agree. I don't even have to say anything.
Oh, I thought you were sleeping for a second, but because you were small and you're.
He said it all. Well, maybe
Yeah,
I didn't. There you go. I'm just sitting back in my chair, listening, and I enjoyed my day. I'm going to have to take off.
Okay, but let me just say one thing in closing. Isn't it so much easier to control people with the influence of the outside, the fear? It's not easy to control people when they're inside in the heart or whatever, you know.
Oh, absolutely. No, anyone that has, you know, that knows himself knows, like what Michael was saying, they kind of know the universe a little bit. So yeah. No, they can't be.
Yeah. So I don't know.
They can't be controlled. So no, am I controlled by anybody? Oh, that I can say for certain. No. I'm the ultimate rebel when it comes to somebody trying to control me with bad control. I can be controlled with good control, if you know the difference. You know, good control is something that is very helpful, and it's helping the cause, and it's, you know, it doesn't have ulterior means for money or various things that can or cannot be, you know, positive. I mean, sometimes it's positive, sometimes, but no, I make up my own mind. If I help forward something, it's my own volition that's helping forward it. It's not because somebody's controlling me.
Mm-hmm. You listen to what he's saying? What he's saying is being written in his book of life right now, and in our book of life secondarily. You hear what he just said? Just see if you can repeat that again about, you know, you're not being controlled. This is profound, because this is being written right now as we're listening in his book of life.
Yeah, again, I'm doing something. I will agree to something if I agree to it, and then I will help that move forward. It's on my own volition. It's not under the control of somebody else. Even if it's my own, even if I'm working for somebody, say I'm working for somebody and they tell me to do something stupid, you know, what do? I say, I'm not doing that. That's not the way to do it. It may be the way you do it, but I don't see it that way. Let me do it my way. I will get to the outcome the way that I know how to get to that outcome, and it won't endanger me and it won't endanger you. It will just get to the outcome. It's not bad control is if you have somebody say, break into that building, and you just go, oh, okay. There's people that act that way. You got to understand that they're so controlled, they cannot do something under their own creative self. You know, when somebody says break into that building, you go, why would I do that? I'm not breaking into that building unless there was an ethical reason. I might need to break into that building to get a ladder or something to help this lady out of a burning building. And then I would do it, but it's on my own volition.
Yeah, everything changes when you understand that the only thing we do on Earth, the only thing we do as a being is write our stories in the book of life. That's the only thing we do. And what we put in there and how it's put in there, or what we let be put in there, becomes our fate. So the book of life is our karma, and we can control it once we are conscious of that. That's what we're actually doing here, because that's the only thing that is accomplished in all of creation, is that book of life. Planets come and go, beings come and go, solar systems come and go. But the book of life is the only thing that we accomplish, you know. And when we make that conscious, it's a whole new game. And the people who've been running this show for a long time, they know that exactly. That's why they keep giving us fear. They keep giving us this and that, and poverty and struggle, and telling us that we're second class, that we're slaves, we're serfs, we're this and that, right?
They've got the game down.
Right, yes. That's the game that they're playing on us.
They're very good at it. They're very good at it. Extremely good at it.
Fantastic, and it goes on generation after generation, because these guys are operating beyond time and space, and we need to operate beyond time and space too. Go back 5, 10, 15 lifetimes and rewrite all that stuff. Rewrite the ending, and the ending is now. We're going to wipe all those guys out. We're going to just take them and turn them to dust. We're going to take them and their gods and their whatever and just blow them up, right, in the inside. So they do not no longer affect us in the future and then in the now. We can do that. We can edit our whole deal once we're conscious that that's what's going on. Yes. Because what's imprinted into you becomes your destiny.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I would suggest to anybody, I mean, just what makes you scared? Does watching the news make you scared? Does it make you sad? Does it put you in fear? Whatever puts you in fear or into a negative thought or vibration, take yourself away from that, put it into something good. Just it's simple. Get away from what is holding you there, and just make a simple experiment. You know, like I said, even a simple thing. I like the way you look. Oh, I like your hat. Instead of, you know, positive, negative. Turn your whatever putting you in fear and in that vibration, turn it into the opposite. And yeah, and as far as what Bean said about the book of life and whatever, yeah, I couldn't agree with more about that. Because if we don't if we don't heal our karma or whatever, we're going to keep going back and back and revisiting and revisiting and revisiting. And not only in this lifetime, but every lifetime. So it was a really good conversation.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with your way to articulate that, Michael. I've never really tried to articulate that in that way. So for me, it was great to hear my own thoughts articulated. How's that?
Your own thoughts. That's exactly what it is. Your own thoughts.
Yeah. That's what he does. Michael's got a group called Language Lessons of the Heart, where that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I appreciated that.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. And next time we have you on, Neil, we're going to try to get a better internet thing, and we'll give you more time to talk. But
yeah, I would like to know more about this ET connection, which I'm not. I think that's what you were alluding to me when you asked me a question last time. Where did they come from?
Right.
Is that what you were alluding to?
Me?
As far as the Sasquatch?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like to hear a bit from people's impressions of what they think they are and where they spend the majority of their time. Because there's a lot of people, you know, who I call them the skunk ape people. The skunk ape people want to say that these things live outside 247 and are, you know, throwback to a Paleolithic offshoot of like a human or something.
Yeah,
and
I disagree with.
Hey, guess what? They're more of the offshoot to a human than what they're talking about.
Right.
That's what I mean? They're describing themselves, but not what they're looking for.
Right. No, that's I don't know. It's pretty when you look at if you go and you look at the information that's out there, that whole aspect to me is just quite humorous because I've even kind of gotten in trouble in some group chats on some other podcasts about people who, first of all, they have no respect for Sasquatch, right. You know, and then you have people who are wanting the proverbial, well, the only way we're going to prove this is if we kill one. And it's like, that's not going to happen, you know. No. That's not going to happen. They are way too intelligent. They are way too spiritual. They are way too advanced compared to us. They might spend their time running around in the forest, but they you know, as Michael said, I think that there's the whole spectrum of these beings, and that they exhibit things and with people and their interactions that it's hard to. I think it's ridiculous to ignore the connections and the stories that you hear from people who have firsthand experience with these things, and understand that there is a strong spiritual energy and connection that comes off of these beings when they see them. You know, I've seen interviews with people that's only encountered Sasquatch once, and they're like, it changed my life. You know, I know when that this being was intelligent and loving, and there was that connection there. And then you have these other people who are purely going at it from the standpoint of you know, they want fame and fortune and be the person who brought in the body of a Sasquatch. And that's just completely wrong, you know, those people right away. I'm just like, yeah, Control Alt Delete.
Anybody who goes out, well, whatever. I mean, if you go out there with the right people, with an open heart and an open mind, and, you know, whatever. I mean, within a week, you should be able to know that they're not Magilla Gorilla, you know, running around. These are really spiritual beings. I mean, yeah, I mean, but, you know, they only want to connect with who's ready to listen too. So, you know, these people, they don't really want to connect with them other than to maybe they don't like them in certain areas, so they'll give them a scare or something. You know, and it's not really even a judgment on their part. They just don't really want to bother with them, or maybe they're infringing on something, but they're not ready to teach them, so that they don't show them anything. You know, that's just the way it is. So,
well, another great show is in the can. Thank you guys for showing up. Yeah. Thanks everybody in the chat for giving us good questions. And wow, I feel like we moved the ball down the field a little bit. You know, I got more little pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me, and getting your information that it was going to happen this time.
What, the show?
You know, I can't. Well, last time it came through Messenger, and I, like I say, I am not a real, you know, I don't get hooked up all that often, you know, to the electronic world. So, but this is the only way we can do this. So, you know, otherwise it would be impossible. So, unless we can raise our frequency a little more.
Exactly.
Maybe someday we can do it without these vias of, these are all vias, these instruments and everything. We're capable of not having to use these things, but you know, like the Sasquatch, they don't have to use this. To them, this is a joke.
No. They're fans of the show. They're fans of the show. Didn't you know that?
No, I mean having to use.
I know. I'm joking.
This electronic
of course,
stuff
they just
to
use
communicate
this.
what they want to.
They just use their energy.
Yeah. And someday maybe we'll be there so that I could, you know, call you up.
Well, like you said, they're teaching you, like you get a lot of mind speak and stuff like that. I get a lot of the energy stuff, answers through energy. I even get like answers through energy. It's all a different package for everybody. So, you know, they're teaching me to do that. They're teaching you to do that. They're teaching us all to open up to who we really are, you know. And the people who have the real connections with them are the people who are all these gifts are opening up for them, and all these, you know, awareness, insights, gifts, as people like to describe them.
Yeah, they are gifts. They are.
So anyway, guys.
So yeah, I'll try and catch up to you another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, get your book out there. We'll let you talk about the second book or fourth book, whatever it is.
It'll be the third, and you know, it's not written fully yet, and I don't know when it ends until it ends.
Oh.
Sounds like my books.
I saw a different cover one you had. Did you have the cover artwork done on it?
I do, but I don't have the. Do I have the actual artwork? Hang on one second.
Okay, thank you for coming, guys. Just collecting. I'm just joking.
Here's the cover art.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool, man.
Put that on the internet a few times. That's
yeah. Do you know Michael Payton?
No.
Is that the artist?
That's the artist. I met him on the internet in one of these sites. I don't know which one. And I saw a painting by him, and I asked him if he would do a cover for my books, and he said absolutely. And what a nice man from my interaction with him. He's just a wonderful person. I don't know anything about his particular connections to Sasquatch or any of that. All I know him is through his artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's captured this image. I really like this image. It is not at all from the evil side. It is from the even though it's a face. It's a face of I'm going to help you. So,
yeah, it's a good face.
Bye, everybody.
Nice meeting you, Neil.
Nice meeting you,
Watch
sir.
over that next lightning bolt coming your way. That's all I got to say. Zeus Wars.
See you guys.
This guy. See what I got to deal with? Okay, see you guys.
space sector calling. Are you talking to me? We have a message for you. I could not help but listen. Children of earth must all become one family. Your leaders will not listen. But what could I do? People will listen to you. I'm just a poor fool. Please try to help us and make them understand. A place for everyone in the sacred land, living in all lands. I'll never turn away. Now my life has changed. I'll never be the same. This is space sector calling. Are you talking to me? We have a message for you. I could not help but listen. Children of earth must all become one family. Your leaders will not listen. But what can I do? People will listen to you. I'm just a poor fool. You try to help us and make them understand. This is space sector calling. Are you talking to me? We have a message for you. Oh, what can it be? Children of earth must all become one family. Your leaders will not listen. But what can I do? People will listen to you. I'm just a poor fool. You try to help us and make them understand.
I'm entering the Stranger Sweepstakes. It's a contest. You pay 50 cents. You get a little card that has a number on it, and then you go up to any stranger. You scratch a penny on his head. If the number under there matches the number you have, you win $100. I won twice. I was beat up 11 times.